is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire.
There has been a lot to like about Michael Fulmer's first two major league starts. Power arm, lots of swings and misses, and the Tigers could use a little of each tonight as they try to snap a losing streak that has now reached 7 games. Game 2 of a 3-game series between the Tigers and the Washington Nationals. Welcome inside Nationals Park along with Jack Morris. I'm Dan Dickerson. And Jack, very tough loss to start this series last night. Good baseball game, but a tough loss. The good news is you get right back out, try to erase the memory tonight.
That's the beauty of baseball. You play almost every single day, and you've got to just brush that one aside and take it one day at a time, one game at a time, one pitch at a time. They have that opportunity, maybe get the early lead and a little momentum.
Tigers has certainly been a streaky team so far this year, and it's amazing, Jack, in the space of just 2 weeks. One really good week, followed by a week where nothing seems to be going right.
Well, it does happen, and even with good teams it can happen. You know, pitching is the one element, and defense is the second element that you have a little bit more control over, but offense comes and goes. You look at some of the numbers there, and you can see the drastic difference between a winning streak and a losing streak. Tigers hope to get back on that winning ways.
Tigers tonight will face a very tough right-hander. It seems like that's all Washington has is a bunch of really good starters with power arms. Joe Ross gets the start for the Nationals against Michael Fulmer. We'll have the first pitch coming up shortly. Right now, let's send it back to our Call Sam studios and John Keating. lineup presented by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Lineup tonight: Kinsler, Martinez in the top 3 spots. You can see Miguel Cabrera getting the night off. Brad Ausmus has to choose Castellanos, Martinez, Cabrera in each one of these games. One will get a rest each night. Ian Kinsler will lead off. You saw the numbers in the open. This Tigers team has hit barely 200 in this 7-game losing streak, and this is no easy task tonight. The 22-year-old right-hander Joe Ross on the mound tonight, and Jack, he's a good one.
He certainly is. You see the numbers for him, and he's got a power sinker. This guy got a very good batting average against. He's just been dominating, really. A lot of swings and misses.
Live fastball, a wipeout slider by all accounts, and right-handed batters, well, let's just say they're facing an uphill battle tonight against Joe Ross. 6'4", 225-pound righty, and he's just, again, 22 years old.
Has not allowed a home run this season. I think that's pretty incredible as he toes the rubber for his 6th start of the season.
Last night's game started with a 4-pitch walk to Ian Kinsler. This guy, like last night's starter Steven Strasburg, has excellent command, and he does deliver a strike tonight on 3-0 after Kinsler walked on 4 pitches yesterday. A couple of 2-run home runs, one in the 1st, one in the 5th for the Tigers yesterday against a pitcher yesterday had only given up 1 home run, Strasburg. Boy, the movement on that pitch. 3-2 on Ian.
Sometimes you watch a young guy and you realize it's hard for him to throw a ball straight. Right there, he touches the top of the strike zone. The Fox tracks.
Todd Titchener is our home plate umpire tonight. 3-2, grounded. Hit hard but right to Rendon across the diamond. This is a very good Nationals team defensively, Jack.
Let's take a look at that Nationals starting defense, brought to you by Tim Hortons. A little different outfield. Jason Worth is getting a start in left field, Revere in center, and Harper out in right. Rendon at third base, Espinosa, Murphy up the middle, and Zimmerman over at first base, and Wilson Ramos again doing the catching for the Nationals.
That's a lot of strength up the middle. Ramos terrific behind the plate. Murphy was considered a defensive liability, but they liked his bat when they signed him, as JD takes a strike on the inside corner. But Daniel Murphy has been a pleasant surprise. I think Chris Spire, the bench coach, has had a lot to do with that, Jack. They worked very hard with him, and as he said, we're trying to put him in the best possible position each at bat, each pitch.
Well, I think
swing
that's
and a miss.
More a key than anything is make sure you line the guy up so that he doesn't have to have tremendous range.
You can see he's been doing this. The Nationals have been doing this on most right-handed batters, shading Daniel Murphy way up the middle. Boy, we'd heard about the slider. We just saw 2 terrific sliders to J.D. Martinez. The first strikeout for Joe Ross.
Well, it's the depth of the slider. It starts over the heart of the plate and then just, I mean, it moves 8, 12, 14 inches, whatever it is right there. But see how it sinks? I mean, it starts as a strike and not even near the strike zone when he finishes it.
Look at what opponents have done against the slider of Joe Ross this year, which is to say next to nothing, and that's pretty good company he's with. Arrieta, Kluber, Syndergaard, all in that top 5. There's a line drive, base hitting to left off the bat of Victor Martinez. The Nationals shift for 3 infielders on the right side, and Victor just punches it into left.
Experienced hitters understand that when you have pitchers that have put away pitches like Ross does with the slider, get that first pitch that you like and take a hack at it. That ball had a little bit of movement, but it stayed up in the zone, and Victor, being the good hitter that he is, he's not going to get deep into a count.
It's really all about the first pitch with Joe Ross on the mound, and here's a guy who loves to attack the first pitch. Nick Castellanos, he's been deadly when he has this year, and that's a big part of his .380 batting average, plus his improvement against righties this year. It's been the complete package so far for Nick Castellanos. Boy, swinging to miss at the slider. That's one that stays more on a level plane. Almost looks like a cutter, but it's sharp, isn't it, Jack? That's sharp late break.
Yeah, it's a plus slider. Starts over the heart of the plate and just breaks out of the zone. And you know, there's scouting reports. That's what guys do, is research everybody. They know that Nick is susceptible to swinging at that first pitch. He likes to get all over that first pitch, so you start him out the slider out of the zone.
Swings here and hits a fly ball to left field. Not deep. Worth is there to make the catch. Backed up one step. Castellanos hits the slider at least, but it's out number 3 as we go to the bottom of the first scoreless. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. And by Ram Trucks. Come discover great deals during the Ram Drive and Discover event. Oh, we see them everywhere. Tiger fans across the country. Last night there was a pretty decent contingent of Tiger fans here.
It's always good to see.
I thought we were looking at one of those cute little dolls for a moment there.
It was.
Ben Revere at the plate. Michael Fulmer on the mound. Third major league start. Nice, easy 94-mile-an-hour fastball for a called strike today. Starting pitcher presented by Family Heating and Cooling Electrical. Numbers may not be pretty jacked through 2, but there actually has been a lot to like about his first 2 starts.
Well, he had that tough start against Cleveland, his last outing, where he gave up 5 runs, 10 hits in 5 innings, but he did get out of a jam and then settled in a little bit, got deeper into the game, give the bullpen a little chance to not have to really bear the burden of a long game.
Buck Farmer was actually up in the first inning when Michael Fulmer gave up 4. 6 batters in a row reached. It was still 4 runs in, 2 on. He got the last 2 outs and really did pitch pretty well the next 4 innings. He gave up just 1 run the rest of the way. Ground ball softly here to second. You've got to hurry with Revere running. Kinsler quickly to Victor Martinez, getting the start at first base tonight. Here's a Washington Nationals lineup tonight, presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Daniel Murphy, big night last night. Home run, RBI single. Jason Worth is in the lineup tonight after sitting out last night. Otherwise an unchanged lineup. A lineup that is still being carried by Bryce Harper and Daniel Murphy. This is a guy that had a big 2014, Anthony Rendon. Robbed of a couple of hits last night by J.D. Martinez. He had good swings. He has been making hard contact. Injuries really limited his effectiveness last year. But this is a guy, Jack, who can add a lot to this lineup. He had 287 with power 2 years ago as a 24-year-old.
We talk about the number 2 hole in the Tiger lineup, and you know, the fact that it's been down as far as the numbers offensively. And Rendon is a guy that just said, really, I mean, he's got to do better than what he's done. The Nationals expect him to after a good year last year, and when he gets clicking, obviously help the guys behind him.
Swinging a drive deep there on the right field line on the 0-2 when he's at his best. He's hitting for power. 21 home runs and 39 doubles in 2014, and can draw a walk to get on base, steal the occasional base. He really was a emerging young player before the injuries knocked him back a step last year. Still shy of his 26th birthday. The 0-2. A little bit high. Consistent 94, 95 on the fastball for Michael Fulmer. Love these power arms. Again, the ups and downs. He has given up a lot of hits. 10 strikeouts in 10 innings in his 2 starts, all on swinging third strikes. Another fastball here. We've seen a very good slider from Michael Fulmer in his 2 major league starts.
He's rushing a little bit with his lower body. He's still that fastball up in the zone. He'd like to get it down and see James McCann sitting with his glove down in the zone. A lot of times it's fun watching the target and see where the pitcher hits or misses.
Slider that time stayed up a little bit.
See McCann again encouraging him, hit the glove, keep it down, and that means a fraction of a second longer with your lower body so your arm can catch up.
Outfield plays Rendon to go the opposite way, go shading toward right center. JD toward the line. Off speed again misses, and Rendon, after falling behind 0-2, has worked the count full. Not much of a breeze tonight. Unusually cool this time of year for our nation's capital. Ball hit softly in the air here to shallow center field. Kinsler will give way to Anthony Gose, who makes a catch for out number 2.
Here's a look at the Tigers' starting defense, and it's presented by Beaumont Health. As you look around the outfield, it's Justin Upton again in left field. Ghost and Martinez, JD Martinez out in right field. Castellanos at third. Romine going to take over for Iglesias at short today. Kinsler there as always. Victor giving Miguel Cabrera a day off over at first base, and James McCann behind the plate.
Two outs. That brings up Bryce Harper. First pitch off speed and away. Bryce Harper unapologetic. After an emotional end to last night's game, he was ejected, and then Clint Robinson hit the walk-off home run. It's a perfect pitch on the outside corner for a called strike. He was not supposed to come back onto the field for the celebration, but it's what he did when he came back on. He said a very bad word to the home plate umpire, Brian Knight. And it was caught rather clearly, coast to coast on video. So he was absolutely unapologetic. He was said, well, he didn't have a good night. I'm glad he hurt me, basically. So we'll see if he gets, certainly he's going to face a fine. We'll see if there's a suspension involved as well as he follows a 2-1 straight back.
Well, you know, baseball tries to teach everybody to have no emotion. Harper, one of the rare exceptions to that. He plays with a tremendous amount of emotion. But the reality is Brian Knight made the right call. It was a strike that he was arguing, and he got all upset about. So sometimes you just got to take a look at the video maybe and you realize you made a mistake.
It's a foul out of play. Today's field conditions presented by Ace Hardware and the Scott's Company. A soggy day here yesterday, just cloudy today, a little light rain this morning.
Great weather for baseball, really. It's a little
You say
chilly.
you like it in the 60s.
I think every player really does.
Yeah.
As long as there's not a lot of wind, they feel invigorated out there.
Oh, there's a perfect pitch. 97 on the outside corner to Bryce Harper to end the first. That's a nice, smooth start for Michael Fulmer and the Tigers. Each team 3 up, 3 down, scoreless after 1 in Washington, D.C. Second inning, single from Victor Martinez in the first, but that was all against this talented righty Joe Ross. Justin Upton will lead off as the contingent men and women from our Naval Academy in the ballpark tonight. We're trying to check out what's in those boxes from UPS. Upton takes a strike. Boy, this is a bat the Tigers need to get going. It goes without saying, and you just have to remind yourself how good this guy is, how consistent he has been, because right now there is not much to point to in these numbers. He knows it. You know that he's trying, and you talked about it last night, Jack. Sometimes when you just try to do what you do best. Here's a shot to third. That's a good play by Rendon across the diamond. Pulled Zimmerman, but he tags Upton as he goes by. The Tigers combined for 3 or more home runs in this game. You can bring in a copy of the box score and get at a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a small order of curly fries. You can find a copy of the box score in your newspaper or on the Tigers page at foxsportsdetroit.com. Again, go to any participating Arby's location. But Jack, you were talking last night, right a moment before JD hit his first home run in a long time. And Justin Upton has not hit a home run in a long time.
Well,
about just that.
It starts with contact. For Upton, it's just been a lot of missed swings and really taking strike 3. I mean, it's a combination for all those strikeouts that he's had. And he's walked a few times, and that's at least tracking the ball. But it's that consistent contact that he's got to make before the ball starts jumping off his bat again.
Right-handed batters with the 0 for 4 tonight are 6 for 53 against Joe Ross this year. Make it 6 for 54. Soft ground ball. Rendon has now handled 3 Tigers batters.
We talk about the ground ball, the sinker pitcher that Ross is, and it's conducive to the ground balls. And that late break in his 2-seam fastball that has a tendency to go down, hitters top it, swing on top of it, drive the ball into the ground, and produces a lot of ground ball outs because of it.
It's the best combination, power arm with a lot of ground balls. Think King Felix in Seattle for so many years, the very best pitcher in the game, and it was a strikeout an inning with a ton of ground balls. That means very few extra base hits. And Joe Ross, it's early in his career. He made 13 starts last year, 5 so far this year, is in that mold. Lots of ground balls. As Jack mentioned, not a home run allowed so far this year by Joe Ross. A lot of times you get that sinker ball pitcher, doesn't get many swings and misses, not many strikeouts, and you see a lot more hits fall, and the ERA is a little bit higher, but you get the ground balls with the strikeouts. Great combination. Anthony comes in hitting .214. The good hitters count. 2-0, make it 3-0.
Different leadership in the Nationals dugout. Dusty Baker, the new manager, but Mike Maddox, longtime pitching coach for the Rangers, is their new pitching coach. And you watch some of these younger guys. Now, Strasburg's been around a while, but Joe Ross going to learn a lot from that man right there. And I like the fact that he's free and easy. He's not overthrowing the ball. It's just a very simple delivery.
Ground ball and a high chop over the mound. That's Espinosa fielding and flipping, making it look easy to get Anthony Goes by just half a step at first base. Tigers go 1-2-3 in the second on 3 ground balls. 2-3 first from Michael Fulmer. Good to see. Been a lot of base runners in his 2 starts. But again, here's a young man who's barely pitched, really, think about it, above Double-A, which is where he was last year, putting up great numbers, first for the Mets and then for the Tigers at Erie as Zimmerman takes strike 1. And this is a young man who has made a rapid rise to the major leagues. Fastball in, mostly fastball, slider so far, really just mostly fastballs so far. You can see his minor league numbers, and last year impressively ERA below 3, strikeouts just about a batter.
I think it's notable to state that, you know, as he progressed up the ladder in minor leagues, his numbers got better.
Yeah,
a lot of those numbers were at the lower levels that he wasn't doing all that great, and that's all about command, really. I think he's becoming a pitcher.
2.24 ERA at Double-A, as you said, as he moved up, got better. Zimmerman barely off the bat. Jack, the changeup is a pitch that he did throw more his last time out. They really have emphasized the need to throw that because he's been kind of a 2-pitch pitcher in the minor leagues. And he threw some good ones, but it's not always an easy pitch to develop and have the confidence in.
It's more a feel pitch. There's no question about that. But what I think happens to a lot of young players with inexperience is they're used to their God-given talent of being able to blow a guy away with a high heater. You know, that works all through youth baseball, and it works in college sometimes. And all of a sudden you're playing against the best of the best, and they catch up to it. Now you've never learned that you can change speeds, and it's the depth of changing speeds and really the art of pitching, to read a hitter and take a little off, add a little, you know, that add and subtract part of the game. That's when you really become a pitcher.
Soft ground ball here. Good pitch low and away. Zimmerman struggling, grounds out to start the second. Well, it's time for T-Mobile's greater coverage of baseball. We look at the history of baseball here in our nation's capital. It's the 3rd go-round for a Washington professional baseball team. The Senators, of course, the original Senators moved to Minnesota, became the Twins. So the very next year they got an expansion team. That team was here for only 11 seasons before they became the Texas Rangers. This team moved from Montreal, so they're just about due for, well, another move. They've been here 11 years.
I think they're here to stay, to be honest with you. The real question is, will a team reemerge in Montreal? There's teams in all 3 of those cities, Minnesota, Texas. Montreal probably will get another one at some point.
It certainly has been speculated, Jack, and it does seem like baseball would like to expand. I think baseball would like to get back to an even number of teams in both leagues. There's a foul out of play off the bat of the hot-hitting Daniel Murphy. And Montreal has a track record of at least supporting baseball at times. It wasn't always rock solid in Montreal, but I think there absolutely is growing sentiment about having a team back in Montreal. Now you have Toronto with a natural rival, but again, getting back to 16 teams in both leagues could make the scheduling a lot better, a lot easier, and maybe you wouldn't have interleague play all year long.
I was going to say, maybe it would just eliminate interleague play, and they'd have balanced schedules again.
Do you like the balanced schedule? Because that's what it was.
I loved it.
Back in the day, it was 13,
it made every
13
team,
games against teams in your own division and the other division.
Everybody played the same amount of games against everybody else. And I think by having interleague all year long, it shows that the rivalries and the money that they thought they were going to make isn't all there. Murphy stays hot.
Boy, it's really something. Let's talk with Jack Jones, who is the assistant hitting coach, longtime Minnesota Twin, and Detroit Tiger just briefly. He's now the assistant hitting coach to Rick Shue here in Washington. Asked him about Daniel Murphy. I said, was there anything in particular he felt clicked in the postseason? Because again, the power that he hit with, he has not been a power hitter. He's been, as you said last night, nice hitter, hits for average with occasional power. It went off the charts with the power in the postseason, 7 home runs in the first 2 rounds. He said not really. He said it was just amazing to him. He'd been a good hitter. He had that power. It came out, and it just gave him the confidence to continue to hit at that level. But it's remarkable to me, a guy with a track record who's not a youngster is hitting just the way he did in the postseason in the first 33 games of this season.
Well, that's the name of this game, is constantly making adjustments and fine-tuning the parts of the game that you need improvement on. I think a lot of it has to do with the timing of his hitting and where he's meeting the ball. It's all out in front of the plate now. Balls can jump off his bat when you put on nice swings. You don't have to crush the ball.
There's a shot into left field off the bat of Jason Worth. Quickly in to grab it is Upton, and a couple of solid singles off the bats of Murphy and Worth, and the Nationals have a little something brewing here in the second. You heard Jack mention it. 17 hits allowed in 10 innings for Michael Fulmer.
Now Worth in the game tonight. Last night not in the game off of Anibal Sanchez because he had terrible numbers against him, but back in the lineup today facing the young pitcher Michael Fulmer.
You mentioned the guys last night in the lineup who are underperforming. Well, Worth is in the lineup tonight. He too has been off to a relatively quiet start, low batting average. Jason Worth got a lot of money and was not always healthy and didn't perform at the level necessarily that they thought he might after he got traded from or signed from Philadelphia, but he really has been a pretty consistent and quietly quite good hitter for these Nationals until injuries, like many others, knocked him for a loop last year. So an early jam for Fulmer. Fastball tails into Ramos, who's hitting .357.
I tease people all the time. If Jason Worth would have grown up in the Dominican or Puerto Rico and would have been a Latin player, his first name for sure had to have been Jesus.
Open upright stance. Off speed, high and away. In fact, the changeup just didn't do much except float up and away to the right-handed hitting Ramos.
One thing that Fulmer's going to have to do here is try to get the ball down the zone more. You saw the success that Joe Ross is having, that ball sinking. Well, keep it down. A double play ball here and get out of the inning.
.260 career hitter. As you see, hitting .357. Ooh. Fastball that on the opposite side of the plate was a called strike to get Harper to win last inning is a ball 3 on Ramos here. You see Ramos, his production, the runners in scoring position.
Pretty darn good right there.
Got the green light on the 3-0. Did not do the damage his manager was looking for. We'll stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game. We're going to select the Fox Sports Tigers Player of the Game, presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites at McDonald's, now being served all day. No duck on the menu.
He's on the field,
on that
though.
Breakfast menu.
Drake Mallard following Susie over there.
And Michael Fulmer is in a jam of his own making now. 2 singles, hard hit. A walk loads the bases. And James McCann quickly out to talk things over with his rookie pitcher. This Tigers rotation trying to get on some kind of a roll right now. Rich Doobie, the Tigers pitching coach, will come out to have a word with Michael as well. We've seen this in each of his starts, just a little bit of wildness, and/or he loses it for a string of a few batters.
Well, he's primarily a fastball guy. He hasn't really shown that his secondary pitch, his breaking ball, is controllable yet. And he's pounding everybody with fastballs. Changeup's been missing up in the zone, so hitters know that, and they know that you've got to be able to get your secondary pitches over. They're sitting on a fastball that they can hit, and he's been a little erratic here this half inning with his command of his fastball.
Already 36 pitches. That's a high total here in the second with only 1 out. We'd like to see that 2-to-1 strikes to ball ratio over the course of a game. That's kind of just a basic guideline for a guy who's having a good night. He's not quite there at the moment. Bottom part of the order, Danny Espinosa at the plate. And he taps it foul. That slider has been a wipeout pitch at times, Jack. A lot of his 10 strikeouts have been on the slider, and it's not there right now.
He's not throwing it. And I think that's something maybe James McCann has to do. When you see a young pitcher up in the zone, you might want to go to the breaking ball, force him to throw something that he has to stay back a fraction of a second. It might help his fastball also, but don't be afraid to use all your pitches. You've got to command them.
Espinosa, switch hitter, batting lefty. Boy, lines it here sharply into right field. Worth held up to make sure it got through. He'll stop at third. Everybody move up 90 feet. 3 good swings plus a walk. The Nationals are on the board and take a 1-0 lead in the second.
Part of the problem with being wild is you've got to throw one over. This was belt high and away. And you saw the nice swing that Danny Espinosa put on it. Line drive to right. Some are just not hitting his spots early in counts, and it's probably got him a little bit worried. Rich Doobie probably a little worried.
Joe Ross, a 158 hitter in his career, and that's again good for a pitcher, at least above average. Swings and misses at a slider from Michael Fulmer. Second inning trouble for Fulmer and the Tigers. The Tigers are trying to end a losing streak that has reached 7. 5-game win streak followed immediately by a 7-game losing streak. Shortened up the slider, grabbed the outside corner quickly. 0-2. Ross 3 for 11 at the plate this year with 3 walks. Don't see that. Most pitchers you don't even talk about on base percentage. He's been on 6 times. Boy, that's a good block. Sliding stop.
Saving a run right there. That
Sure
ball was well beyond the left-hander's battering. It's right in the middle of the left-hander. It would hit a guy in the foot, but good job by James McCann right there, saving a run at third base.
Tigers in tight at the corners, middle of the infield. That's Romine and Kinsler. More than double play depth. They're in halfway, but still in position on a ground ball to turn the double play. Slider away. Ross works the count to 2-2.
You saw that James McCann wanted fastball up, and Fulmer shook him off, went to the slider, but missed away.
1-2-3 first inning, and now Michael Fulmer a long second inning. This will be his 25th pitch, and there's still only 1 out. There you go. Fastball blew him away.
Good spot too.
Second strikeout for Fulmer. Just a little tardy.
Well, it's the perfect ball down and away. Pitchers aren't they have trouble enough with the ball down the middle.
You get a lot of people with that pitch in that spot. Now a little bigger challenge, contact hitter, 300 hitter last year, Ben Revere, former Minnesota Twin. It was always a tough out for the Tigers when he played for the Twins. Traded away for not much in the end for Minnesota, and then after being traded to Toronto here last year. Ground ball softly to first, and Michael Fulmer gets out of a huge jam, just allowing the 1 run. He strands 3. It's the easy ground ball off the bat of Ben Revere to end it. After 2, the Nationals lead by 1. Go to the top of the third inning in Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. The Chevy Silverado, most dependable players this year when it comes to ERA. There's your list. Two guys we're going to see in this series. Jordan Zimmermann starts tomorrow against Max Scherzer. Jake Arrieta, you know all about him. He showed he was human the other day and gave up 3. Joe Ross has made 4 really good starts for the Nationals. He had 1 start of 2 innings that was shortened by a blister problem. Missed 1 turn in the rotation as Romine takes a pitch outside. But Jack, in his 6 starts, all have gone 6 or 7 innings, and in each start he's given up 1 run or none. That's Joe Ross through 4 starts, plus the 2-inning start.
Well, the 1 hit allowed in this game so far, that was Victor's base hit to left field, and take that away, and he's just been flawless in this game. He's got it working. You know, he throws strikes. He's in the zone with great movement. And confidence is growing. I think that's a big part of a young pitcher's game, is that confidence.
Fly ball right field, over and in, now back. A little fooled by the depth on that fly ball. Bryce Harper makes the catch. Let's check in down on the field with Trevor Thompson.
Well, Dan, here at Nat Stadium, they've got the netting behind the net, behind the backstop, rather, going all the way to the end of the dugout. But during batting practice, they put up extra netting as well for people along the foul line so that no one gets hit by a foul ball. The grounds crew has told me several people have been hit, including a young girl last year who had to be taken out on a stretcher after being hit in the face with a foul ball. So it's dangerous for people certainly down low watching these games. They want to be close to the action. But here at Nat Stadium, they're trying to protect people in batting practice. It comes down for the game, but they have extended it to the end of the dugout to protect as many folks as they can, which is good news. Back up to you, boys.
And you can see it in batting practice all the way down the line. Fulmer takes a pitch in. I think more and more teams, Jack, are going to do what the Nationals have done. I want to say the Twins did the same thing.
Yeah,
they extended to the end of the dugout.
There's so many foul tips that come off the bat so quickly, and not to mention a few bats that go flying in these games.
I asked Michael Fulmer how often he's batted. He said, hey, I had 13 at-bats in the minor leagues last year. He said, you can look it up. I did. 1 for 13.
Pitchers.
Oh, boy. There's a changeup. Not fair. And Fulmer takes it for a called third. So, first time through the lineup, impressive. Osmus tried to get as many left-handed bats in. He doesn't really have a ton of options.
Well, he's doing it so efficiently. Joe Ross is just not wasting any time. He comes in a lot like Jordan Zimmermann, just pounding the strike zone, getting ahead, and it's so far he's made quick work of the Tiger lineup. 18
career starts. Right-handed batters are hitting 160 with no power. It's better for lefties, but I think impressively they're hitting 270 this year with very little power. Last year they hit him for power, not this year, as Kinsler grounds one foul down the third base line. One nothing Nationals. Tigers batting in the top of the third. Had some good swings against a very good pitcher last night. The 0-2 line drive, fair ball into the corner. Extra bases for Ian Kinsler, and he will cruise into second on an 0-2 pitch, line drive double.
Well, that gives us something to smile about. Let's take a look at the cricket something to smile about moment from last night's game. J.D. Martinez came to the plate early in the game, and
this guy can certainly do that. He's got the count to do some damage. Drive to the gap in deep left center field. Got a chance. Gone.
And there's that dugout. He comes in. He's smiling.
There's a swing and a fly ball to right, deep. Harper going back, pedaling, and he will make the catch. JD with a good swing here, but it's out number 3. 2 good swings in the third inning, a double and an out. We go to the bottom of the third, 1-0 Nationals. 2-0 lead at the bottom of the third. You can see the Tigers play the Minnesota Twins coming up May the 16th through the 18th. You get 4 tickets, hot dogs, chips and drinks for as low as $16 per person. It's the weekday value pack. Visit tigers.com/value or call 866-66-TIGER. Second time through the order for Michael Fulmer. Rendon at the plate, slider away. Rendon, Harper, Zimmerman. Check swing, same pitch away, and 2-0 on Rendon. Soft little pop-up on a 3-2 his first time up. He's swinging a ground ball, base hit into center. Time for a game break. Let's go back to our studios in Detroit and Mickey York. Boy, the Royals at one point 12-6. And they've now lost 10 of their last 13 games. Injuries are starting to pile up for the Yankees. Sabathia, A-Rod on the DL. I saw Teixeira's going to miss a couple of games. I think it was a back issue. Harper takes a pitch outside.
It's just not the Tigers struggling in the American League Central.
No, it's not.
Royals have struggled. The Twins struggling all year long.
Twins are 8-23. Shot, and it's gloved by Romine to Kinsler. Relay, got him! Beautiful play on a scorcher off the bat of Harper. 2 outs, bases empty.
Got to be frustrating for a hitter. You hit the ball and the screws like that, you're thinking base hit, maybe even when balls hit that hard, you're thinking it might squeeze between the outfielder and go all the way to the wall. But Romine comes up with a nice play, even better throw over there to Kinsler, and you see how quick Ian Kinsler is in getting rid of the ball. We're going to take another look at first base. Harper looked like he had maybe beat the throw, the relay from second base and Kinsler. So
yep,
Dusty Baker wants the umpires to take another look at it.
As soon as the ball hits the pocket of the glove, so you really need to see it almost from the outfield side. So it is
like he's already over the bag.
So now there you can't tell. And the super slow-mo on the screen, and now they're going to rule safe.
Well, still a great play to get the lead runner.
It absolutely was.
Harper's going to be on first, fielder's choice.
Gives you a feel also, Jack, for, I mean, he gets down the line pretty quickly. That ball was smoked, and it could have easily been a double play because of how hard it was hit. And the Tigers did everything right. Great look right there to see that he indeed was safe. So fielder's choice. Now goes 6-4. Harper stole 6 bases all of last year. As we said, with Davey Lopes especially, this team is trying to, they haven't stolen a ton of bases, but noticeably some guys are running more, including Bryce Harper, already with 5 steals this year. Michael Fulmer has shown so far early that he's been paying attention to runners, doing a good job slowing the running game. McCann's terrific behind the plate. Again, Victor getting the start at first, so this is his second start in the field in 3 days. His first 2 starts of the year. It's really just been a feel thing for Brad. And Brad was asked, you hate taking Miguel out during a losing streak. He said, well, I didn't like having Victor out last night, and I won't like having Castellanos out tomorrow. But the plan coming in was, and it's still a fluid plan, Zimmerman takes a pitch up and in to have both Castellanos, all 3, sit out 1 game of the series. That's all you can do, because one has to sit when one plays, and he didn't want Victor sitting for all 3.
Well, I guess it's your only option if you're really trying to give your key guys a day off, a rest, which they all need. You're a month deep into the season. What better time to do it than on the road in a National League park where the pitcher has to hit for himself.
Zimmerman takes a slider off the plate away. This is Ryan Zimmerman, and it's not just a .227 batting average, but Ryan Zimmerman's not hitting with any power right now. The Nationals need this bat to heat up, you would think, for this offense to be as good as it might be. This offense, I think, has the potential to be quite good. Murphy, you know, will cool off. Harper can certainly maintain the level he's at.
Well, you're absolutely right. Your number 4 hitter has got to be a guy that can put the ball in the seats once in a while. And Zimmerman just hasn't done that enough this year. He's going to come around, I imagine. He's always been a guy that hits with some power.
Fulmer keeping a close eye, shortening that lead. Even if it's not close, getting him going back to the bag can always shorten that lead. 5 steals, 2 caught stealing. McCann last year threw out 36% of opposing base runners. Shot here, and again those soft hands of Romine, and the Tigers will turn this 6-4-3 inning-ending double play. Man, there were some hard hit balls in that inning. The last 2 especially, and in the end, Michael Fulmer faces the minimum 3 batters. Tigers trail by 1 after 3. Top of the 4th, trailing 1-0. Menard's big money encounter into the longest active road hitting streaks. Dexter Fowler's off to a phenomenal start for the Cubs. His streak goes back to early September of last year. Odubel Herrera, a Rule 5 pick last year for the Phillies. He's got a streak that has reached 16, and then the next 2 guys stepping to the plate, Nick Castellanos and Victor Martinez. Victor takes a breaking ball low and in. Second time through the order is when Joe Ross, interestingly, has struggled the most. Interesting because the 3rd time through the order, when usually young pitchers would have the most trouble, Joe Ross gets better. But noticeably, 2nd time through, batting average goes up, power numbers go up. 3rd time through, he has absolutely shut down opposing batters in his 19 major league starts. 2 good swings, first 2 batters. His 2nd trip through the order. There's a fastball with a lot of movement for a called strike. Kinsler with a double. J.D. Martinez with a line out. You can see it there. 131 first time through, and then the numbers jump and go right back down below 200. Shot here foul. Whoa, quick feet for Omar Vizquel.
You wonder about that. How come that happens? Well, if a guy can regroup and show that the 3rd time through the order, when his arm's more fatigued and his body's getting tired, he can do it the third time through. Why can't he do it through the second time? One word: focus. You've got to have the ability to focus the entire game. Every pitch has meaning. And I think a lot of young pitchers kind of have a mental lapse. They get cruising along. They have a quick inning or two, like Ross has had, and then all of a sudden you might have a mental lapse where your focus isn't quite as sharp. Well, he's going to learn that, and it's apparent that he's done a better job with that this year.
Pitch inside makes it 3-2. The fact that he is a 22-year-old who's been good third time through certainly says there is that ability.
There's no
isn't there?
reason that it shouldn't happen the second time through if you can do it later in the game.
There's a swing and a jam job, line drive into center. That's a good job by Victor. That's a power fastball in on the hands, and he drives it into center. He's 2 for 2. Third hit of the night for the Tigers. 3 good swings this second trip through the order. Well, Tiger fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device. It's the all-new Fox Sports Go app. Download the app, take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go.
Professional hitting right there from Victor. He got a mistake pitch up. It didn't move that much. Got in on him a little bit, but Victor just was able to fight it off because of the inside-out swing.
Perfect pitch to Nick, low and away. He's made 2 very good pitches, knowing that Castellanos has done damage.
Typically, you're
on that first
all
pitch.
excited about having your leadoff man on, but in Victor's case, sometimes you can plug up the base pass.
Look at Nick on the road. You see the last 7 games hitting over 500 with power. His home runs have been big home runs. Think of the one in Minnesota. Turned a 5-2 game into a 5-5 game. Last night, Strasburg, dominant pitcher right off the bat. Nick in the cleanup spot hits a 2-run home run. That guy was pretty good last night. Yeah, how about that?
7-year contract extension for Steven Strasburg.
Shot here, deep left center field. Way back in left center and gone! Nick Castellanos for the 2nd straight night. He's on fire, number 7. And the Tigers take a 2-1 lead in the 4th.
There's something about his swing. We talk about J.D. Martinez and the different sound the bat makes when the ball comes off his bat. Well, Nick has got something special going here tonight, too. Last at bat, he hit a very similar pitch. It didn't carry like this, but this time, the ball just jumps off his bat. And in back-to-back games, Castellanos hits home runs.
Wow. Back of the bullpen, deepest part of this ballpark. Upton takes a pitch away. So 4 good swings, first 4 batters. Look at that. You can see the difference in the power numbers for Nick, the consistency. 7th home run didn't come till much later in the season, and he absolutely
the average
labored.
too. I mean, he's doing everything right.
To hit for average and power. I thought one of the 2 might take off this year, and I really thought it would be the power numbers, not the batting average. Fastball right through the heart of the plate, 1-2.
Everything's going right for Nick. Foul ball from Justin Upton.
Gino.
He's able to just see it, turn around. You know, it's a beach ball. It's the way he sees everything right now.
Make sure that Gino doesn't get hit. Kevin over in that dugout. You know what? I love his attitude. He's just he's not too caught up in what he's doing. He's hitting with a lot of confidence. Jack is taken to the ballpark every day. The way he finished last year, as we talked about, helped him coming into this year.
I can't say enough about confidence.
He's a foul out of play.
And what this kind of streak can do to him long term. You know, young players are always trying to figure out where they fit. I think it's a trial and error part of the process of baseball. But when you go through a streak like Nick has gone through here, you know that you can do it again. When you start struggling, you say, all right, I can reach back in my memory bank.
Right.
I have something to reflect on.
Very close pitch.
See the pitch count per inning right there for Joe Ross.
Those are pretty efficient innings.
Yeah.
Until here in the fourth. Oh. Now, Jack, when you see a swing like that was a late afterthought swing on an 84-mile-an-hour slider that was right over the heart of the plate. What are you thinking there? I mean, it's just the struggles of Justin Upton are to me are a real puzzle. We knew he could swing and miss, but this is really something right now.
It's hard for me to describe it because I see him swing and miss so often, and I know hitting his timing and confidence, all the things that pitchers have on the opposite side, but I just see that he's not making contact, and I don't know what you can do. You know, you can take all the batting practice in the world, you can hit off the tee, you can have soft toss, you can do all those things with your hitting coach, but you get in live game situations and you struggle to make contact, and it becomes a mind game. I got to believe that he's got some demons going through his head right now.
I mean, it's just eating him up. I mean, this is a good hitter. It's worth remembering. This is a guy with a .270 career batting average. He's averaged 25 home runs, 84 RBIs the last 3 years. Consistent walk rate throughout his career.
You know,
and really none of those things are happening right now.
It's even magnified when you're on a new team and you're trying to fit in, you're trying to put your mark on a winning tradition and be welcome. You know, there's nothing better than contribute for a guy putting on a new uniform, feel part of it. And he just has struggled all year with the strikeouts.
The 0-2 to McCann. Ground ball to short. Espinosa to Zimmerman. Think of that swing from Castellanos. It's why teams right now, they're still trying to figure out. They know he can hit the fastball, but the damage that he's doing, Jack, on that was the slider down and away. Maybe it wasn't the pitch he wanted to make. But still, Nick went down and got it.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is down and away is great, but not for everybody. And JD, he's so used to down and away, and now Nick has been pitched for a few years down and away, down and away. Well, these guys have made the adjustment. They can dive out there. They got plenty of power, and you know, that uppercut swing that both of them possess is conducive to driving the ball to all parts of the field.
2-1 Tigers on another home run from Nick Castellanos. Take a look at that swing. It's a beauty.
Well, point of impact is absolutely picture perfect. It's out there in the apex of your bat speed, out in front of the plate.
Goes, it's a ground ball to second. Charging field in the big hop is Murphy to Zimmerman to end the fourth. Martinez leads with a single, and Nick Castellanos, home run number 7, RBIs 27 and 28, have given the Tigers a lead. the presidents. Teddy's been working out, I think. Look at the finish.
Nothing better than politics in Washington, and there they are.
Teddy Roosevelt put on a finishing kick. Seems appropriate.
Old school.
Big outdoorsman. Big outdoorsman. Like to be fit. I don't remember the finishing kick like that.
We were told that those outfits, the heads alone weigh 40 pounds.
Now I'm thinking, as Murphy leads off and fouls off a 1-0, how do you attach that so that you're
very
not
carefully
tipping over?
It's got to be strapped around your chest. Probably all muscle guys down there.
Now they're not jogging toward the finish line there. That video is not speeded up. Murphy, Worth, and Ramos here in the 4th inning. Michael Fulmer working with the lead. Fly ball to center, deep. It goes, has it in range as he backpedals and makes the catch in straightaway center. As we said, this is a ballpark that does not yield generally year in and year out many home runs. But last night, 2 for the Nationals, 2 for the Tigers, and 1 for the Tigers again. Nick Castellanos tonight.
You would think on a cool evening ball wouldn't carry that much. Good to see that Fulmer gets that leadoff guy. Here's the ballpark ranks around how the Nationals park ranks.
13 home games so far, so those are all obviously very hitter-friendly numbers. Whoa, Michael Fulmer buzzes Jason Worth. Up and in. Last 3 years, this ballpark has been top 5 for runs scoring and for doubles, and very low for home runs. Boy, Worth not real happy with the youngster. The look for Jason Worth has not changed through the years, has it?
It's
the same look.
Rock star look.
Perfect pitch on the outside corner. So Michael Fulmer doesn't appear to have that good wipeout slider tonight. Jack does have the good fastball. So you're the catcher, McCann. What are you doing with Michael Fulmer?
You stick with it is what you do. It'll come. You know, we're still bottom of 4 here. It's still you know, early enough that that pitch could develop and be more effective. I think it's mostly his location on the slider. He's been off the plate away, and if he can just dial it in a little bit, he'll start catching the corner.
At its best, it has late break. Wow, that'll get a lot of people out, as we said when he did that to Ross. Perfect pitch, fastball away. Jason Worth strikes out for out number 2.
Yeah, he paints a 96-mile-an-hour fastball down and away, and you can see that ball that was up and in might have had something to do with that swing. You can see how Worth spins off on his heels. He's trying to pull the ball. He's looking in. Ball away. He's going to be susceptible for, and that's because of that ball up and in.
You said you always liked it. Not necessarily hit guys, not necessarily make them jump back, but high and tight had an impact. Boy, he's starting to locate down and away now. 94, 95 with every fastball from Michael Fulmer. Smooth motion. Jam job softly down the third base line. Ramos walked his first time up.
I love that pitch he just threw more than the one down and away, because until a hitter proves that he can make contact and keep the ball fair on that ball on the inner half of the plate underneath the hands, just keep pounding them there. They got to swing. They're not doing within it. Once you hit 2 strikes, then you can have some fun.
And James McCann set the high target. He hit the high target. Yeah. Ramos just got a piece of it.
You got it though, Danny. He's starting to hit his spots a lot better this inning.
Contrasting him with Joe Ross, who's got a true sinker. This is more of a 2-seam fastball that goes into righties, isn't it, for Michael Fulmer?
Well, it's a straighter fastball. You know, most of the fastballs that he's throwing away to a right-hander are going to be a 4-seam.
Right.
The fastball that he's throwing away from the left-hander, that'll be the 2-seamer.
This will be the 5th pitch of the at-bat. Popped up. Will it be playable? Out of play. In case you're just tuning in and wondering what the heck, well, Mario Impemba's right next door. He's doing radio with Jim Price for these 3 games. I'm having the pleasure of working with Jack Morris. And We'll be doing this throughout the season, a series each of the next 3 months. And it's been a lot of fun working on the television side. And I know Mario, well, he's getting back to his roots as well. He was with the Anaheim Angels at the time. He did their play-by-play on radio. Bob Starr for many years. 1-2 as Fulmer misses away. Big 6'3", 210-pound righties. 1-2 pitch. Line to the gap in left center field. And Anthony Gose has a long way to chase that one down. Ramos will cruise into second with a 2-out double. There have been good swings in every inning against Michael Fulmer.
Let's look at the location of this last pitch. You can see how James McCann has to pull his glove back up and over the plate. He did not get the corner. He centered that right down the middle. You can see he's setting out away, and he has to bring his glove back in. And you make the same pitch. He did a pitch previous where he threw the fastball up and away. Ramos was able to get a piece of it, did not swing through it, but that one left out over the plate, and he just tomahawks it. Mistake pitch.
Espinoza, tough to be a number 8 hitter in the National League. He's going to be intentionally walked so that
maybe that's where they should put Harper.
Yeah, you get maybe a better hitter. Well, through 11 at bats anyway. Joe Ross waiting in the on-deck circle. Joe Ross is just a good. Ross is a good athlete. I wouldn't be surprised if he turns out to be a half-decent hitter for a pitcher.
Yeah,
in his major league career.
First plate appearance. You don't want to make a mistake with anybody. You assume that a pitcher is going to just roll over and die. It's not going to happen. They want to be a hero. They still want to call mom and dad and say, "Did you see what I did last night?"
All right, so you beat him on a good fastball first time up. But this is a guy who's got 3 hits, as we mentioned, and he's drawn 3 walks. I don't think that's insignificant.
Good news is you have 2 outs. And, you know, just make your pitches. Keep the ball down, you know, maybe get a ground ball or keep them honest inside.
Perfect pitch. Same one that got him out the first time, 95 on the black. And good swings in each of the last 3 innings. Really 3 hard hit balls in the second, 2 more in the third, and now 1 here in the fourth. But Michael Fulmer is working with the lead, and he's trying to strand a couple of base runners to get out of the 4th inning. That ball cued off the end of the bat.
Oh, quickly he's heading the count with 2 strikes. Now you have a chance to maybe see if you can get the pitcher to chase. Ross is going to have to defend. He's in a defensive mode at the plate. He knows what it's like to be on the mound, so maybe that good slider down and away off the plate a little bit, he'll chase it.
The 0-2, swing and a miss.
Got him up.
Another power fastball gets another strikeout. The 4th for Michael Fulmer ends the 4th, and the Tigers lead by 1.
It's time.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by the Sam Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. By Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. And by Chevrolet, more than you expect for less than you imagine. Romine, Fulmer, Kinsler to face Joe Ross. We're in the 5th inning, and the Tigers are in desperate need of a win. Losing streak has reached 7. The Tigers have dropped 3 games below the 500 mark. The Central belongs to the Chicago White Sox at the moment. They've opened up a 6-game lead over the Cleveland Indians. Romine takes a pitch up and away. Only 14 at-bats for Andrew so far this year. Hit a ball hard his first time up. Chase Bryce Harper back to deep right field before making the grab. Good swing against Joe Ross. Impressive 22-year-old right-hander for the Nationals. Tailing fastball away, and Romine has worked the count to 3-0. What a trade for Washington to get this young man. 3-way deal with San Diego and Tampa, along with Trey Turner, their shortstop of the future. There's a pitch inside, and Romine walks on 4 pitches. Trey Turner's considered one of the top prospects in baseball. So you've got this hard-throwing young righty who's had a terrific start to his major league career and a top shortstop prospect, and they really didn't give up much, at least nothing that you would notice yet in that deal with Tampa and San Diego.
First walk of the game for Joe Ross. To pitch out of the stretch, lead-off walk. Hopefully the Tigers can capitalize on that. See Fulmer going to square around, try to get him into scoring position. And that's not how you bunt.
You just don't have many opportunities. In the minor leagues, of course, there are National League and American League franchises at all levels mixed together. So in National League ballparks in the minor leagues, there's no DH if an American League team is playing a National League franchise. American League, there is a DH, so if Toledo's hosting a game, there would be a DH. And you can tell
Fulmer doing something mechanically very incorrect there. You don't stab at the ball. The idea of bunting, and this is just a sacrifice bunt, is to catch the ball with the bat. You don't try to hit the ball. The bat will do all it needs to do. It can go 25-30 feet out on the grass by just catching it. And you go up and down vertically. You don't push the bat forward, pull the bat back.
He's going to try one more time. Romine's going to draw the throw from Ross. Ross stops the running game. He's only allowed 1 steal in his 19 starts.
I imagine he's going to throw a breaking pitch here. The harder pitch to bunt is a breaking ball, and what the heck, you got 2 strikes on the guy as long as you can hold the runner and keep him honest.
One more time. And not a chance. So a strikeout of Fulmer. Second time tonight he has struck out. That's the 4th strikeout for Joe Ross. Back to the top of the order, and Ian Kinsler. Kinsler's hit the ball hard twice. Hard ground ball to third, and a line drive down the left field line. Got into the corner. Came into the game hitting .302. He's just been very consistent. The extra base power has been noticeably up from last year. The home run power. Just feel good with him in the leadoff spot. Trying to start something with 1 out here in the 5th. Short, cautious lead for Romine. This is a pitcher who gets a lot of ground ball outs as Ian takes ball 1.
Joe Ross doing a really good job of pausing on the mound. The one thing that most good base runners appreciate the least is a guy that holds the ball. They want a timing. That's part of getting a good jump, and the longer you hold it, the more they get upset over there. Conversely, it's harder to throw strikes when you pause longer. You want to have the rhythm yourself as a pitcher. So it's kind of a catch-22. You're doing the best you can to give your catcher a chance and maybe upset the timing of the runner, but you also have to have that quick step, and you're upset with your own timing because of that.
That's the other side of the equation you don't hear about very much, Jack. The base runners will absolutely echo your sentiments on holding it for an extra beat. And there it is. 2-0 on Ian Kinsler from a pretty good strike thrower on the mound, Joe Ross. Ricky Henderson said it was the one thing, and he's one of the very best of all time, one thing that he liked the least, holding it an extra beat. You're getting ready to fire and you can't get started. Good hitters count for Kinsler. Whoa.
You think about a track meet, and every one of the sprinters are in the blocks, and the starter says ready, set, and bang, right? So they have a mechanism in their brain that is timing the gun going off. Well, it's no different for base runners. They're trying to time that, and the longer that pause is, it's like, when's it going to go?
Splits the plate with the 3-0, but you don't hear what you just said, and very often you do hear that the holding at the extra beat stops the running game. Never heard about what it does to the pitcher. Makes it harder to throw strikes. And
I think so. The longer you have, it upsets your own rhythm.
Right, your rhythm. Went to 3-0 on Ian. Well, the Tigers put Romine in motion. There he goes. Fly ball to center. And Romine will have to retreat. Revere in center tonight. Comes over and in to make the catch for the second out. A Bernstein advantage brings you the pitcher-batter matchup. And J.D. Martinez has our Bernstein advantage tonight.
He wants to play interleague all the time. Why wouldn't you with those numbers? 2 home runs, 7 RBIs,
and look
just
at
7 games.
Same numbers against American League pitchers. Good to see him with the good swings last night. Another good swing tonight. He was in a 2-for-34 funk before the line drive single and home run last night. He pops this one up, and this will end the 5th inning. Second baseman Murphy will circle behind Zimmerman to make the catch. And the Tigers get a leadoff walk, but no more. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Tigers hold on to the 1-run lead going to the bottom of the 5th. Working with a 2-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th, second of a 3-game series. Tigers and Washington Nationals. Cloudy, cool night. Washington, D.C. Temperatures in the 60s, about 10 degrees below normal for this time of year. Perfect pitching weather, according to my partner, Jack Morris. Ben Revere takes a strike.
Two young pitchers doing a pretty good job so far. Low scoring game. Just 3 runs scored.
Two pitchers drafted 19 picks apart the same year out of high school in 2011. And both look like they have very promising careers ahead of them. Oh, swing and a miss. How about that? Change up to Ben Revere. We haven't seen a lot of change-ups from Michael Fulmer tonight.
Let's take another look at it here. Pulls the string and Revere way out in front. It's like that hadn't got there yet.
That's a good feeling from a pitcher, isn't it?
Well, that's,
fall across home
that's
plate.
why you throw it. I mean, just to balance.
Busts him in after going away at 96. Third time through the order. Again, it's only 2 starts, but noticeable. Been a lot of base runners for Michael Fulmer. Third time through the order. This is only his 3rd major league start. Jam job, ground ball softly to second. Charging back inning. That's a good play by Kinzer. So smooth. 1 up, 1 down here in the 5th.
Let's take a look at our bell tire pitch by pitch. Back in the 2nd inning, Michael Fulmer was in a little bit of a jam. Base hit right there, scores the 1st run of the game, but then he bears down, makes a couple good pitches, gets Ben Revere to end the inning on a ground ball to 1st.
That was a big early moment in this game, Jack. You've had the bases lost last night. Bases loaded with 1 out.
Yep.
3 hard hit balls to load the bases, plus the walk. And to get out of it with the easy ground ball after the strikeout. Confidence builder for Michael Fulmer. He's given up 1 hit each of the last 2 innings. Some hard hit balls, but he's always been able to work out of it after the hit. Rendon at the plate. He fouls it back to the screen and falls behind 0-2. 7-pitch battle his first time up. He popped out to shallow center, and then a sharp ground ball single in the 3rd. 2-1 Tigers in the bottom of the 5th. Just missed away.
We were talking about last night's game and how Steven Strasburg was able to sustain his velocity deeper into the game, while Michael Fulmer still touching the mid-90s.
Oh, slider
probably
got
his
him.
best slider of the game right there.
That's wicked.
Records his 5th strikeout on this last pitch. Let's take a look at it again.
So 15 strikeouts in 15 innings for Michael Fulmer at the major league level, and 14 impressively have been on swinging 3rd strikes. Speaks to the stuff of Michael Fulmer. Max Scherzer gets the start tomorrow night. Jordan Zimmerman having a little visit before the game. They were teammates, of course, for 1 year. That's a pretty good marquee matchup. Max hasn't gotten going yet. Not like we know he can. That worries you a little bit going into tomorrow. That guy's been on a roll all year long. Changeup misses away to Bryce Harper.
You can be kind of careful to Harper right here. You don't have to intentionally walk him, but you can be careful knowing that Ryan Zimmerman's kind of scuffling right now.
Boy, that pitch looked pretty good. Just missed off the plate inside with the changeup, and it was pretty good. Look at that. That's the case where the catcher has to reach, and that's what the umpire is looking at, right?
Tough for the umpire, though, when you see the catcher sitting on the corner. And that's why I think more and more catchers, with young pitchers especially, should sit more over the middle of the plate and just use their glove to go frame a ball on the corner. It's a thing that the catchers or the umpire behind him sees him move all the way across the plate. Well, they're going to give the pitch to the hitter.
And he walks him. We had a couple of intentional walks last night. This is the 1-800-CALL-SAM call of the game. Both of them worked out for their managers. 7th inning, Bryce Harper intentionally walked. That loaded the bases at the time, and then Zimmerman popped out. And then in the 8th inning, the pinch hitter Victor Martinez intentionally walked. And Saltalamacchia struck out. It was interesting, I thought, Jack, that today Brad said after thinking about it last night, it really did bug him that he just felt like he did not make the right move last night. It's that upon reflection, he said, I probably should have just let McCann bat there. But he said he was thinking about when would he be able to use Victor Martinez after that. But Victor, the pinch hitter, intentionally walked.
Yeah, I'm going to stick up for Brad there because you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't in that situation. You know, Dusty's a veteran over there and he's going to counter. But you want to put your best hitter in the best spot. Well, he might not get another chance. You're in the late 8th inning. You know, you could have maybe hoped that the pitcher spot would have come up.
Right.
But that meant that Saltalamacchia would have had to get on base. Or was it still McCann? Might have been still McCann. I can't remember exactly how it worked out.
But 2-0 on Zimmerman. Fly ball left field. Forget it. Wow. Zimmerman with his second home run of the year, and the Nationals take a 3-2 lead here in the 5th.
Of course, we were just talking his last at bat about his lack of production power-wise, and you're thinking, well, as long as he's not making that great of contact, not driving the ball, he can pitch around Harper and go try to pitch to Ryan Zimmerman. But all it takes is one swing, and that ball down and in, but right in the sweet swing of Ryan Zimmerman. Quickly that ball jumps out of the ballpark. Sure is a good feeling for Zimmerman, but Tigers now trail by a run.
6 home runs in the 2 games. Ground ball here, diving attempt by Kindler, but he couldn't make the play. And Murphy has his second hit of the night. He's already hitting over 400. So with 2 outs and the bases empty, the walk to Harper. Remember, it was a walk yesterday to Harper in the 6th inning ahead of a Murphy home run that helped get the Nationals back into the game. So he walks with 2 outs here, and the Nationals take the lead on the Zimmerman home run.
It's a little bit disheartening for Michael Fulmer, who's really pitched a good game, but he's being equaled on the other side by young Joe Ross, and neither team having a chance to have a real blowout game here as of late. The Tigers just haven't put up a huge crooked number to give a lot of breathing room to the pitchers.
We'll join Fox Sports Detroit and the Detroit Tigers May the 24th. Very special evening as we honor the armed forces and military veterans. To buy a special ticket package, you'll get a ticket to the game and limited edition patriotic t-shirts. $5 of each package is donated to the Michigan-based Fallen and Wounded Soldiers Fund. For ticket packages, please visit tigers.com/armed forces. Jason Worth, the average is low, and this is a guy who hits for average and power, but the power numbers are solid this year. Be careful here. Tigers down a run now, bottom of the 5th. First pitch perfect on the outside corner, grabs it with the slider, strike 1.
93rd pitch now for Fulmer, so there's going to be some activity in the Tiger bullpen.
Drew Verhagen is throwing. Each of his first 2 major league starts for Michael Fulmer have lasted 5 innings. Boy, how about that swing? Had a fastball tailing in.
Well, I think that's where you get it started and you can't stop. And if you don't stop, you're going to get hit in the kneecap. So you just kind of get out of the way and the bat comes around. That's not pretty right there. It happens.
And he knows
Trust
it's
me,
not pretty.
It happens.
Single and a strikeout for Worth. Remember last time, pitch up and in, set up a terrific fastball away that got the swinging 3rd strike. Here he caught a little bit more at the plate than McCann wanted, but Worth fouled it off. Speaking to still that life in the mid-90s for Michael Fulmer.
No question, with a plus fastball like Michael Fulmer has, if he can just locate, it's going to be a lot more fun for him. But the mistakes are the pitches that have cost him here, and it's just been a couple pitches, but 3 runs.
Check swing on a slider in the dirt. Worth didn't like the call, but he's going to be tagged out by McCann to complete the strikeout. 2-out, 2-run home run from Zimmerman. The Nationals have retaken the lead by 1 after 5. Thanks to the big long home run from Ryan Zimmerman. Got to be a good feeling for him. Look at the number of runners he has left on. That's not the last month.
No, 2 games. Opportunity.
I've never seen that before. 19 left on base in 2 games.
You know, one swing could change his outlook, and that was a nice swing that he put on that fastball down and in.
At least 6 of those 19 were on Sunday. 7 actually.
There's
Bryce
one
Harper
guy
being walked 6 times, hit another.
One guy that's figured out. Mr. Ross, Joe Ross. Victor Martinez 2 for 2 so far in this game.
His singles have gone to left and to center. They still shift on him. This is one of the few lefties who is not really affected when teams shift. A couple of years ago, he really tossed out last year's number. He wasn't the same hitter. 2 years ago, he hit over 300 with the shift, and he hit over 300 when there was no shift. There's a foul out of play, and it doesn't surprise you one bit. The kind of hitter that Victor is.
What I really appreciate about Victor is every at bat, every pitch, he's got total focus. He doesn't give away at bats. He's trying there to do the best he can every pitch.
And he squeezes it through the shift. We've seen that a few times. Very few lefties do what he just did. Hit it through the shift on the ground. We've seen that at least a couple of times. So that's this season. That's still, when you think of some of the other batters, David Ortiz has been decimated by the shift in recent years. And there are some other very good lefties who have really been shut down by the shift. And to be hitting 288 with the shift.
Hard to find a hole on the right side when you're shifting over, but when you hit the ball that hard,
yep,
it doesn't seem to matter.
3 for 3. That was on an 0-2. The Tigers have a man on for the guy you want at the plate right now, Nick Castellanos. First pitch sinking fastball. Castellanos not just leading the American League in hitting, it's a 30-point edge over Manny Machado, who's a healthy 350. With RBIs 27 and 28, he is 3rd in the American League in RBIs.
He's getting it all done. It's not just average, it's power. Having a great start to this year.
Confidence growing and growing, and it does take young hitters who are potential power hitters. It does take them longer sometimes. to develop that power stroke and become that power hitter. This young man is just 24 years old.
Confidence is a wonderful thing, and it makes you calmer. In hitters' cases, most of them become quieter. They're not jumping at the ball. They trust their hands. Their body has less movement usually. You look at Joe Ross, young pitcher, confident, very little body movement, simple.
Fastball. You could see Ramos, who's a good receiver, try to bring that back into the strike zone. Todd Tichenor not buying. 3-0.
Tigers have a chance to maybe have a big inning here.
Up and in, and a 4-pitch walk. 2 on to start the 6th inning.
Hey, here's our Magic Moonshot presented by Magic Windows. In this game earlier today, in the 4th inning, Nick connects on a ball down and away and just hits a moonshot out in the bullpen.
Mike Maddox.
Home run from Castellanos has snapped a lot of innings that he has not allowed a home run. It's the longest active streak. Things are going well. You can have some fun. Now Miggy, he kind of does that every day with not only his coach but every guy that reaches first base. But
anybody in the neighborhood,
you might as well have a little fun as long as you're not showing anybody up out there.
Absolutely. Backup breaking ball, misses inside to Upton. Oh, if there is one hitter in this order that is in need of a big hit with men on base, it's this guy at the plate. 0 for 2 tonight. A bounce out. He hit the ball hard, and a strikeout. Right now, it's all about just making good contact, and those are the kinds of pitches, Jack, that he's missing. I mean, that's a fastball.
Yeah, that's a pitch that
right through the heart of the
hitters
plate.
Don't miss. Castellanos is not missing those pitches. Bryce Harper rarely misses. Ryan Zimmerman crushed one off Fulmer that was right there. So those are the kind that you can't miss.
And he is really struggling to do damage on fastballs right now. He obviously can hit them, but not so far really this year. And then a follow-up slider. And again, it seems like almost every at-bat, Justin Upton is in some kind of a 2-strike count. And if you're going to try to make your living in 2-strike counts, you're not going to have a lot of success.
You've got to be willing to go with the pitch here. And Justin keeps the same swing. He's got that uppercut swing. He's trying to lift and separate to left field. And instead of just maybe drive this ball, it's going to be away.
Ground ball deep short, backhanded by Espinosa for 1. Hurley, not in time. The throw bounced, and that cost the Nationals. They had a shot. That was a strong start to the DP by attempt by Espinosa. Got another slider down and away. Almost got it into left, but its runners at the corners, 1 out. Thankfully staying out of the double play. Castellanos forced at second. Victor's at third. Tigers are down a run. And brings up another struggling Tiger. Bottom part of the order right now. I mean, Nick Castellanos has obviously solidified the 6th spot.
Well, you got to give
7, 8, 9 right now is a quiet area.
Give Justin some credit for busting down the line there and staying out of the double play. Gives runners at the corner, and Tigers have another opportunity here to tie this one up.
McCann off to a 3 for 32 start. Ankle injury, you just feel bad because he really had a good spring. He'd made some changes in his swing, a little more upright. He drove the ball with power. It was very consistent. And the ankle injury was a line drive down the left field line. Foul. The ankle injury really set him back, and he's not been able to get the bat going so far. That's actually, even though it was foul, that's actually one of the better swings we've seen from James McCann since his return.
I think the hardest time of year to get an injury is early in the year for a hitter. And I have reasons for saying that. pitchers take a while to get dialed into their regular season, mid-season form. And James McCann just coming back from an injury. It's like going to spring training, but the pitchers have already got their mojo going.
There's a swing and a shot into right field. Tigers have tied it up as Victor Martinez scores. James McCann makes it a 3-3 game.
Using the whole field there. There's a big hole on the right side. James McCann just able to shoot the ball to the right side and complete that tying run. Nice hitting right there.
Sure was. Tigers. A couple of hard hit balls. Victor squeezing it through the overshift, and that's one of the best swings we've seen from James McCann. Upton stops at second. We haven't seen him a lot on the base paths because he's had a hard time getting on. He is a good base runner. He's got some speed. Outfield arms. You'll run on Revere. There's a swing, a soft little fly ball on the left. It's going to drop for a base hit. They will hold Upton at third as Worth gets the ball back in. Just two softly hit, and Worth was closing, and Dave Clark had to make the quick call. I think he made the right call there.
Yeah, I think so. This ball's just kind of volleyed into left field. Worth charging. And see Upton just getting to the bag when it touches Worth's glove. So Dave Clark makes a decision to hold him at third. And have to go 90 feet at a time.
Andrew Romine, career with the bases loaded, a little over 300. Still looking for that first career grand slam. Tigers just take a single here.
No activity in the Washington Nationals bullpen.
Surprising to me.
Baker kind of showing a vote of confidence here, trying to let him get himself out of his own mess. I kind of like this. Rarely do you see it anymore in the game.
Very rarely.
But that's how you learn. You get yourself out of messes.
Pitch in the dirt, gets away from Ramos, and Upton didn't see it right away. And was not going to take a chance. Tigers trying to advance on a wild pitch in the game last night. Cabrera was thrown out at third. Couldn't tell because it was behind Romine how far it had gotten away from Ramos. Andrew walked on 4 pitches last time up. I'm really surprised the Nationals don't have anybody throwing. Miguel Cabrera, not getting the start, has grabbed a bat.
Well, this is a little better situation for Brad because bases are loaded. Can't walk him.
A little swing back action on the fastball, grabs the inside corner above the belt. That's a high strike. In at the corners, middle of the infield double play dead. Bases loaded, big opportunity for the Tigers in a 3-3 game. We're in the 6th. Bunt attempt. They're trying to bring Upton home on the safety squeeze. Romine could not lay it down. Pretty good bunter, 1 and 2.
It's the element of surprise right there. Upton does not commit himself until he sees that the ball is down. But when Romine doesn't make contact, he alertly goes back to the base.
Waiting now on the 1-2. Whoa. Sweeping slider off the plate inside. Romine with a good swing first time up, the deep drive. Tigers will take another one right here. And that would give them the lead. Again, he walked his last time up, and now activity in the bullpen. We saw Rivero last night. He was terrific.
Yes, he was.
Bases loaded and 1 out. The 2-2. Inside, 3-2 on Romine. Impressively for reserve, Romine will make you throw him a strike. He won't necessarily expand.
Here's our high-speed pitch brought to you by Xfinity, and you can see the ups and downs there. 95 is what Joe Ross has touched with his fastball. Breaking ball, 79, a lot of off-speed changeup.
Soft ground ball here. To second for 1. They will not turn the double play. Romine hits it softly enough to score the run. The Nationals wanted the hard slide from Ghost to be a double play. No chance. I thought That was a perfectly legal slide into second. The Tigers take the lead 4-3.
Make things happen. That's what Andrew Romine does here. He puts the ball in play, did not strike out. And there's nothing wrong with that slide.
I will say the mistake there, though, and they actually, when you look at that replay, the mistake for Anthony Ghost, he did not reach with the left arm toward the bag.
I think they're going to be rule this out because Dusty.
That's the mistake he made. If he's turned the other way, that's a legal slide.
Dusty's going to ask him to review it, and I think he has legitimate beef here. Daniel Murphy pointed right away because he's there watching the slide, and
the rule is very specific. And I think the review will absolutely make this a double play, and this game will stay tied. And really, the rules are very specific. Runners know going into second. You can't target an infielder, and if you slide to either side of the base, you have to be able to reach it with your hand. And because his body's turned away from the bag, he could not reach it with his hand. Now, I'm not sure, Jack, if he just simply reaches with his left hand, if that would have counted, but I just think he's turned the wrong way there.
I think
that's a judgment call, but
you're supposed to slide straight into the base. But you're right. As long as you can touch the base.
If he was turned the other way, sliding to the right,
his right side or his left side instead of his right side,
I think that's going to be a double play. The whole idea is runners can no longer target infielders. Chase Utley's slide was one of two slides that led to the rule change. And he started his slide, of course, after the bag. You have to start your slide before the bag now, at the bag or within arm's reach of the bag. And you can't change direction.
Saw both Zimmerman and Daniel Murphy pointing immediately. So that's what Dusty Baker saw, and then if he had time to see what we just saw in the replay of how Ghost went into second base. And
what do you think, Jack?
Well, I can't see how they won't rule him out, because like you said, Dan, he did not attempt to go to the bag at all.
You're allowed to slide to the side of the bag, but not like that. Not according to the new rules. Long review suggests there's hope for the Tigers. A lot hanging on this call. It's either 4-3 Tigers with Cabrera up 2 on 2 outs, or inning over 3-3, and you'll hear the crowd. Safe. In other words, not safe at second, obviously, but safe at first, and no double play. Dusty Baker's not happy. You can't really argue this. You're in danger.
Well, this is what's so hard for managers. They see a replay, the one that we just saw, and clearly there was no attempt to go to the bag from Anthony Ghost, and yet the umpires, for whatever reason in New York, decided to stay with the call that their buddies on the field made.
Given how the new rule was written, I'm puzzled by the ruling. I'd love to hear, and Dusty clearly is too. It's good for the Tigers, obviously, but I am puzzled because this new rule was very specifically addressing that particular slide. Miguel 4 for 11 as a pinch hitter. Obviously doesn't get to do this very often. He doesn't get rested in National League cities very often. He's got a chance to deliver a big hit. 4-3 Tigers on what will surely be a controversial call at second or non-call at second base. Tigers benefit, have the lead. First pitch to Cabrera. Fastball backs him away.
And Joe Ross is still in there. Dusty Baker sticking with his young starter.
Single, walk, single, tied the game. Flair single, loaded the bases, ground out, gave the Tigers the lead. Now Cabrera with a 1-1 count. McCann's the runner at third. Ghost is forced at second. Romine the runner at first. The 1-1. Half cut on a fastball up and in.
Big run there at third base for Miguel to try to drive in.
Miguel 7 for his last 12, the last 3 games plus a walk. Ramos setting up away. Fly ball softly into center field, and it's going to drop for a base hit. McCann to score. Romine to third. Tigers lead by 2, 5-3.
Well, it's an RBI any way you look at it, and a big RBI at that. Miguel Cabrera putting the bat on the ball and finding a hole out there. You see the pitch up and away, outer half, and Miguel just threw his hands at the ball. Ben Revere not being able to catch up to it. Tigers take a 2-run lead.
Didn't read it cleanly off the bat, but I don't think he had a chance to get there. 2-run lead for the Tigers here in the 6th inning. And Kinzer's had a couple of good swings tonight against Ross. Gets a chance to face him for a 4th time. Short slider, perfect pitch. Grabs the outside corner, strike 1. Softly hit into the air, and easy play for Espinoza backing up, but the Tigers benefit from the review, score 3 and take the lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Was a big play in this game. It gave the Tigers a 4-3 lead. The Mets, the Nationals, not happy with the ruling. Here is the new rule. You can see it. If a runner does not engage in a bona fide slide and initiates or attempts to make contact with the fielder for the purpose of breaking up a double play, he should be called out for interference. And a bona fide slide is defined, Jack, as making contact with the ground before reaching the base, being able to and attempting to reach the base with a hand or foot. And he was not able to or attempting to reach the base with a hand or foot. It says nothing about whether he interfered with the.
Clearly some confusion on that call, and you know, we've got a memo from the umpires saying that he did not hinder the actions of the shortstop in any way, shape, or form. Well, it's again
that's not
confusion
part of the,
because of what
part of the
rule
new rule
states. Exactly.
That is not part of the new rule.
I think there's just a lot of people not even happy with that rule.
Even Ian Kinsler's not happy with the new rule, and it's designed to protect guys like him.
Yeah.
And I would also say, I mean, the slide of Ghost, you could see Espinosa. I think he had to come across the bag further. He still made a strong throw to first,
yeah,
but
he had to go veer left further.
Right, and if that's not, that causes an extra split-second delay in his release.
Well, Drew Verhagen's going to take over for Michael Fulmer on the mound. Fulmer stands to win this game, completing 5 innings, leaves with a 5-3 lead.
Wall side windows pitching change. This is a young man growing with confidence. He's had 3 really good outings in a row. Up and in. Buzzes him at 95. Ramos with the walk and the double off of Michael Fulmer. Fulmer goes 5 as he has in each one of his starts. And he becomes the pitcher of record. 3 runs and 7 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. So we're getting a little bit of a mixed bag from Michael Fulmer through 3 starts, but I like the 16 strikeouts in 15 innings. There have been a lot of hits, no question. But boy, you sure do see the flashes with Michael Fulmer. Three-two, high and tight. Time for a game break. Let's go back to our studios in Detroit. Mickey York. All right, Mickey. Chris Medlin started. He gave up 9 runs in his last start. He gave up 4 runs in 2 innings today for Kansas City. Their rotation right now is a real problem spot. Remember, they weren't great. Their rotation wasn't great last year, but they overcame it with an out-of-this-world bullpen. Last 3 appearances, last 4 innings for Drew Verhagen. Impressive. It's 4 scoreless innings with 4 strikeouts. We mentioned the strikeouts because, Jack, here's a power arm. Never been a big strikeout pitcher, and yet, obviously, strikeouts are important. His strikeout rate is very low. If he can get those strikeouts, bump them up just a little bit, 6, 7 strikeouts per 9, all of a sudden he becomes an even better and bigger piece of this bullpen.
Well, you're going to only get that by being able to locate on both sides of the plate. If you show the hitters that one of your primary or your secondary pitches is not effective, they start sitting on a fastball, and then you can only locate it on one side. Playing hard to the left hand now, warming up for the Tigers. It's going to be easier for them, but it's going to be up to the bullpen now. We talked about Kansas City and the job that they've done over the last couple of years. Tigers have a chance to wrap up this game. 5 good innings from Michael Fulmer, and now it's up to the bullpen to finish it off.
Just saw a changeup to Espinosa. That is a pitch that Drew Verhagen is throwing a lot more in recent appearances and has made him a more effective pitcher. There's a fastball here, and he's in trouble. Leadoff walk, and now 3-1, and Danny Espinosa.
There's going to be probably a pitch here, and Joe Ross is standing in the on-deck circle, but situation where you really wonder how Dusty Baker can send him up. Pitch count up there around 100 pitches. Blaine Hardy's still throwing in the Tiger bullpen.
Fastball, some movement back over the plate at 96. Espinosa will make it throw him a strike. He doesn't expand a whole lot. This guy generally is going to put the ball in play, but he won't chase on a 3-2 most times. Single and an intentional walk for Espinosa. Switch hitter batting lefty. Tigers have just scored 3 to take a 2-run lead. Swing and a miss. Fastball above the belt. That's a great bounce back by Drew Verhagen. Coming up next Tuesday, Tigers take on the Minnesota Twins. 7:10 start at Comerica Park. First 10,000 fans get a free Ian Kinsler bobblehead. For tickets, go to Tigers.com or call 866-66-Tigers. Stephen Drew will grab a bat and pinch hit for the pitcher Ross right here. Out to the mound, Rich Doobie. Got Blaine Hardy. Drew.
Well, the Tigers are somewhat familiar with Stephen Drew. Started with Oakland, ended up going to Boston, so he's played in this same league as the Tigers, the American League, now with the Nationals.
His career has not been the same since he sat out at the beginning of 2014. He just has not been able to hit for average. Still has a little bit of pop. 17 home runs last year, but he hit 200 with the Yankees and hitting 140. That's 5 for 35 so far this year. Drives this one on the line to center. Goes in, slides. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did. Whoa, that was right at the tip of his glove, it looked like. Drew smoked the first pitch that he saw, and it's out number 2.
You can see this catch again. I wonder if it's something that Dusty Baker might, well, he clearly caught it. So Dusty probably saw what we just saw about the same time. He won't make any kind of challenge.
Two outs and a man on first. And now Ben Revere at the plate. Tigers with a 2-run lead, bottom of the 6th. That's a heck of a curveball.
Yeah, that's a knee buckler right there. There's not much you can do. That was a great 12-6 curveball.
Ground ball here to second, and that will end it. Good bounce back by Drew Verhagen after the leadoff walk. Revere grounds out for the 4th time tonight. Tigers lead by 2 as we go to the 7th.
Bullpen for the wall side windows pitching change, and out of the bullpen, Sammy Solis coming in, making his 5th appearance of the year. He's going to be replacing Joe Ross, who was pinch hit for there in the bottom half of the 6th inning.
What a good job by Drew Verhagen. That, as we all know, Jack, you talked about it yesterday. That leadoff walk can be a killer. He went to 3-1 on the next batter, and what a bounce back.
Well, it's key. He got a couple breaks there. Great catch by Anthony Ghost there to rob Stephen Drew of a base hit and maybe extend the inning, but turns out that defense can really help you.
Fastball away. JD 0 for 3 tonight. Strikeout line out to right center. Going to pop out his last time up. This bat will heat up and this offense will start to look different. Miguel Cabrera the same. Justin Upton the same. 3 reliable sources of power have not yet been that for the Tigers through 31 games. Solis delivers up and away. 18 games, 21 innings of work for Solis last year. Low walk, strikeout rate of 7 per 9. He's off to a slow start this year. Breaking ball down and in, and JD just heads back to the dugout. We can follow Tigers baseball throughout the season with the MLB.com @BAT app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, statcasts, news, and more. Download the MLB.com @BAT, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. 5-3 Tigers in the 7th. Victor Martinez a 3 for 3 night. Strike 1 to Victor. And like what you talked about his last at bat, Jack, that pitch to pitch focus for Victor Martinez. And it has to be a good feeling for him to have the health back, being able to drive off that back left leg, and the at bats have been very consistent all year.
Well, they got a shift on the right side, and you don't see this every day either. Why not go the other way as long as they're going to shift that side?
The man who will not be beaten by the shift.
What a night he's having. 4th base hit for Victor.
He just takes it the other way.
Both his leadoff hit in the 1st inning and now his hit here in the 7th inning going the other way, both from the right side and the left side.
Boy, he's so good at that. Not just taking a pitch on the outside corner away, but pitches off the plate away, whether he's batting lefty or righty, and just punching it into left field, or in that case into right. Second 4-hit game of the season for Victor. Time of year when you could still raise your average 20 points plus in a single big night, and he's done exactly that. Victor's lifted his average from 311 to well over 330 with his 4 for 4. Castellanos 2-run home run off a pitcher who had not allowed a home run in 48 innings going back to last year, Joe Ross. Two 2-0 on Nick. This is a guy who will give up his fair share of hits. 3 home runs in 26 innings. It's an average number of home runs allowed in his time in the major leagues, but I kind of like this matchup for Nick. Fastball away.
He's in a hitter's count right there, and maybe guess him a little bit, but went after that pitch with authority, tried to maybe put 2 more on the board.
Outfield plays him straight up. Justin Wilson getting loose in the Tigers bullpen. Hot foul out of play. Staying away with the fastball. It's a pretty good left arm. Not off to a great start, but only again 4 2/3 innings coming in. Tigers trying to snap a losing streak that has reached 7. Two-run lead here in the 7th inning. The 2-2 pitch. Jackknifes out of the way as Solis busts him in, and it's 3-2. You
can see the time that Nick's taking here, and that gets hitters thinking too. There's more than one purpose about moving the ball in. Oh my.
Nick takes with confidence. Nick starting to draw a few more walks, staying in the strike zone, a little more discipline in recent days. 2 walks tonight, put 2 on with 1 out here in the 7th inning for Justin Upton.
Take a look at that last pitch. Obviously, Solis wanted it. Fox Tracks has it down and in. And it probably was a little bit low and in. Almost doing a really nice job of framing that ball. And again, Nick's having fun over there with little buddy. Omar Vizquel.
That's his new routine after drawing a walk. Helmet off, wrapping his arm around Vizquel.
You think players might be victims of superstition?
I've never heard that, but
no.
Swing and a miss. It's a good fastball away. Over 3 for Justin tonight. Fastball moves him off the plate inside. 1-1 on Upton. Tigers are down 3-2 going to the 6th inning. Victor Martinez single. Castellanos walked. After a ground out, McCann sharp single into right tied the game, and then came key play in this game. A Romine soft ground ball to second. It got a run home. A pitch outside makes it 2-1 on Upton. The Nationals, with good reason, claim that goes to slide at second. Should have made it a double play. And replay seemed to confirm that, but not the replay umpires in New York. Pop up here softly, and I mean softly, on the infield fly called. 2 outs, 2 on for McCann. The series wraps up tomorrow night. Zimmerman against Scherzer, about as attractive as it gets. What were the odds that actually would work out? The guy who left for big money in free agency 2 years ago against the guy who left the other team for pretty good money in the offseason. This past offseason, Max Scherzer, one of the great guys in the game. There's a pitch inside. Pitched some of the greatest games that you will ever see last year. Midsummer, he was on a roll that was just something to see and frightening for opposing batters. Change up away to McCann. He's got the good hitter's count. Sharp single his last time up. Had to feel awfully good. A quiet return from the disabled list, and he was matched up against a righty who just shuts down right-handed batters, and he singled sharply off Joe Ross. At the time, it tied the game. Up and away. Guy who doesn't walk much has a 3-0 count. And
well, there's the problem for Sammy Solis right there. 20 pitches thrown, only 9 strikes, so he's been all over the place. Tiger hitters have to be patient in a keyhole. In a hitter's count, you just want to make sure you get something you want. Taken all the way right there.
Sure was. Martinez the runner at second. Victor and Castellanos at first. 5 runs on 9 hits for the Tigers. 3 runs and 7 hits for the Nationals. Now the 3-1. Low and inside, and Sammy Solis is having a tough time finding the strike zone. 2 walks after the opening single will bring not Dusty Baker but Mike Maddox to the mound. The Tigers have loaded the bases for Anthony Gose. Again, that pitching matchup tomorrow is presented by Gordon Chevrolet. Jordan Zimmerman, you know, his ERA did double his last start.
Yeah, think how good that
from
is.
0.55. And Max Scherzer, he said he called it himself. He called it, I'm in a funk 2 starts ago. Then he made a really good start. And then another so-so start for him. That ERA is a little bit unsightly. I guarantee you it's going in one direction, and that's down. There's still the good high strikeout rate for Max.
I talked to George Zimmerman today about his start against his former teammates, and I can rest assured it's a weird feeling. And same will be true for Max. You know, it's two guys that are great pitchers of this generation, and they have one of the toughest challenges, and that's go against your old buddies
for the first time for each.
Yeah.
Swing and a pop-up, and this will end the inning. Second baseman Murphy will make the catch, and the Tigers load him up, but do not score. Seventh inning stretch brought to you by Jeff Glover and Associates Realtors. Tigers hanging on to a 2-run lead. Time 24,000 plus on their feet singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Our Comerica Bank game summary. Dick Castellanos, another 2-run home run today. Boy, and he crushed the one today. Victor with his second 4-hit game this season. And Jack, again, some ups and downs for Michael Fulmer, but over 5 innings, you just see those flashes that make you think this guy really has an upside that's kind of exciting.
Well, you see that plus fastball and that quick little late breaking slider, and when he makes his pitches, those swings and misses, they're so obvious, and it's just a work in progress for him. He's going to gain more and more confidence and experience, but Tigers doing a great job of timely hitting today. They've made some great defensive plays. Romine made a couple nice ground ball outs, and goes helping save a run. So overall, pretty good game so far for the Tigers.
News and notes from around the league. Steven Strasburg, 17, well, might be some of the deferred money. 7-year contract extension that goes through 2023. An interesting deal because there aren't many. There have been very few, as a matter of fact. Clients of Scott Boras, who has signed an extension as they were heading into free agency. Robinson Cano's on fire. 12 home runs. And Todd Frazier, I love this one. It's the latest grand slam by a White Sox player since Happy Felch.
Yeah, I pitched against him.
100 years ago. It's good to be able to talk about. Happy Felch. We haven't talked about him in a while.
Oh, it's been a while.
Rendon fouls it out of play. You would think this is the one batter. Brad Ausmus wants Drew Verhagen to get. Drew Verhagen gave up a hard hit ball last inning for an out. Oh, now where is that? My goodness. A near perfect pitch, but it's ball one. 1-1 on Rendon.
McCann doing the best job he can of not showing up to the umpire, but reminding him that he might have missed it. There's a happy line there. Lance Parrish used to hold the ball for what seemed like an eternity, and I know that inflamed the umpire to the point where the next 3 pitches, no matter where I threw it, were going to be balls.
You're like, Lance, please don't do that.
Well,
please.
You want him to. You're happy because he's sticking up for you.
Right.
But it can backfire.
Boy, that's a good pitch. And again, you see this power arm, who's never been a strikeout pitcher, starting to mix his pitches even more effectively. The confidence growing. 5 innings, no runs, 5 strikeouts, his last 5. Inside, and
you know, for
somehow didn't hit him.
For a lot of the fans that are watching and listening to this broadcast tonight, I just want to try to put it in perspective. You look at a guy like Verhagen with the great stuff he has tonight, and you say to yourself, well, why can't a guy go out there and pitch like that? It's called the human element. And I know we talk about it, and this is just my experience, that a cool evening like tonight without a lot of wind, you feel invigorated. You feel like you got so much strength and energy. And then the midsummer games, you might pitch 3 days in a row out of the pen and you're just gassed, you know, and your body doesn't respond as well. So I call it the human element. You're just not always going to go out there feeling good. We're asked to perform whenever called upon, and the reality is we're not always going to be good, so you got to be creative.
Big pitch here. Broken back, ground ball to third. What a great job. Breaking ball down. Rendon breaks his bat. And that's a very good outing for Drew Verhagen, unless Brad Ausmus was going to stick with him right here. They had Justin Wilson up. You got Harper coming up. I thought this would be the automatic change, but not necessarily.
Got a couple run lead here, so I like the fact that
I like it too.
That Brad has given a little vote of confidence to Drew. He's made some great pitches. I don't know, maybe he was just listening to what we were saying. I don't know. Got an earpiece in, Brad?
That's a really good first pitch. Drops in the curveball, steals strike 1.
Locating this pitch on the outer half of the plate. You know, it's one thing for a righty to hit the inside part of the plate, but he's going to both sides. That one a little bit too far out.
So to you, the key for him is being able to work both sides of the plate with the stuff that he has.
Yeah, I mean, it's that simple, but yet it's not simple.
Right.
It's a lot easier to talk about than actually do. But 95 away and then come back in, keep them honest. Hitters are good. They're good for a reason. They study all the video they can on a pitcher. They understand your tendencies and what you like to do in certain situations, and you have to counter all that. Look at that.
Whoa. Harper taking with confidence. This guy's.
It's outside, but how do you lay off that? Ball really tailed at the end.
Looks down, same spot off the plate. This guy's got tremendous control of the strike zone. One of the highest walk rates of any batter anywhere last year. And this breaking ball. Got him. What a pitch from Drew Verhagen. Wow.
Uncle Charlie. And this one really has some bite to it. Starts out about letter high and ends up on the plate. Takes a little off too. You can see Bryce Harper a little bit out in front, but it's just the fact that this ball ran so far from top to bottom.
Leadoff walk last inning. Now he's retired the last 4. 2 on swinging third strikes. Ryan Zimmerman takes strike 1. It's fun to watch this young man grow in confidence, and now he's becoming a bigger and bigger piece of this Tigers bullpen. And that curveball, Jack, has become a real weapon.
I just hope he doesn't fall in love with it, because fastball is still what got him here. And he's got a plus fastball, 95. He's got to command it. And then he can go to that breaking ball. It's ahead. But back-to-back breaking balls here for 2 balls of this count.
Tigers holding on to the 2-run lead in the 7th. We're down 3-2. Going to the top of the 6th and scored 3. Foul out of play, back to the fastball. And it's a consistent mid-90s fastball for Drew Verhagen. Zimmerman's home run his last time up, just his 2nd of the year. And it was a no-doubter. Long foul here.
Speaking of which, let's take a look at Big Boy's big play of the game. This was the home run that you were just talking about, Danny. Jordan Zimmerman with 1 swing of the bat. Looks like it's going to ruin Michael Fulmer's evening. He puts the Nationals up at the time 3-2. Tigers come back and get Fulmer the lead, and that's where we stand right now, 5-2. 5-3, excuse me.
Fastball in the dirt, and for the 3rd straight batter, a 3-2 count. Rendon on a 3-2, grounded out to 3rd. Harper on a 3-2, struck out on a curveball. What does Zimmerman get right here? Curveball, and he just got a piece of it.
I think if you could locate that fastball down and away right here, you'd lock him up. Zimmerman's still pulling off a little bit. He walked into that home run. They're going to go back in.
Drives it to the gap in left center. This is deep in trouble, and gone. Second home run in as many at-bats. He had won the entire season, and the Nationals are within 1.
Well, I think James McCann wanted that pitch in a little bit, maybe to push him off, but he's got 2 pitches to hit down and in, and it's obvious to me that that's his sweet zone. Ball did tail away. You could see McCann crossing his body, reaching out away. He wanted it in. Ball left middle half down, and Zimmerman has put back-to-back really good swings.
The strikeout of Harper, and with 2 outs, the home run from Zimmerman. Wall side windows pitching change. Justin Wilson coming on. Tigers hold on to the 1-run lead in the 7th.
Park, and after leaving a record 14 men on base Sunday as the Cubs walked Bryce Harper 6 times. Ryan Zimmerman was thought that maybe he would move around in that Nationals order, but Dusty Baker said, you got to show faith in the guy. He left him in there. He still left 3 men on base last night when the opportunity arose with the bases loaded after a Harper walk, but he comes through big time tonight with a couple of home runs. And as you guys were saying earlier, Dan, they're looking for power from this guy. He just might found his hot spot. He just might heat up from here. We'll see. Back to you guys.
Track record certainly suggests he will. Justin Wilson scored upon in each of his last 3 games. He had not been scored upon this season until then. Takes over on the mound.
You want a guy to heat up, throw it right where he likes to swing. And that's what's happened with those last 2 swings.
Look at that. Michael Fulmer pitched to Zimmerman. Jack was, as our Fox Tracks box showed, well off the plate, down and in. And as you said, that still is to his liking.
You can see that he opens up. He stands with an open stance. We're talking about Ryan Zimmerman, where he's hit 2 home runs.
Pitch up and in. You would think ideally for Brad Ausmus, he wanted Verhagen to get through this inning, and he was going to have Wilson work the 8th and K-Rod the 9th. Now you would think he wants Wilson to get this out. Probably work the 8th. Mark Lowe is off tonight. He's also struggling mightily. Wilson, remember, worked an inning in 2/3. The other Wilson, and Alex Wilson is up again. There's a swing and a foul, so who knows? Maybe it's going to be Alex Wilson to get the 8th inning tonight. Alex Wilson has been simply the most dependable reliever the Tigers have had the last 2 years.
He's a workhorse. He knows, Brad knows that he can go to him. He can pitch multi-inning games back to back. But it would be nice to see Justin Wilson get this out and then give Brad an option,
right,
whether he wants to send him back out again.
2-2 on Murphy, 2 for 3 tonight. That average over 400. Good pitch. Riding fastball away gets Murphy. Second home run of the night for Ryan Zimmerman means the Nationals are within 1. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. Top of the 8th inning. Terrific ballpark. Watch a ball game. Nationals Park opened in 2008. You can see the dimensions. 377 in left center has been reachable for, well, Nick Castellanos and J.D. Martinez. Right center, you've got to carry a big wall in right center field. This ballpark above average for hitters. More runs, more hits, more doubles have fallen in the last 3 years. Not a good home run hitter's ballpark. Foul territory, I would say, very similar to Comerica Park. And that means a good number of foul outs higher than league average. There's a pitch down and in.
There's certainly bigger ballparks. I kind of wonder why this hasn't been more of a home run ballpark. There's the one oddity for me is the way the angles play in out there in left center field in front of the Tigers bullpen.
Romine dispatched on 3.
You can see there that they could have made this field just all kind of straight across over to where it jettisons out about 50 yards or so beyond the left field foul pole. But they've got a few angles, and that could be dangerous for the outfielders that are running into the alleys.
Strike on the outside corner. Pinch hitter Mike Aviles. Lines it here, but he hit it too hard. Right to Bryce Harper, who is shading him in and toward the line. Good swing for Mike Aviles. But it's out number 2 here in the 8th inning. Sammy Solis in his 2nd inning of work. Nationals averaged about 32,000 a game here last year. We've seen 27 and 24 in the 2 games of this series.
Can I tell you how bad it feels for a pinch hitter? You sit around all game, you get up there, you put a nice swing, you hit the ball hard, and you come back to the dugout and your teammates remind you, hey, nice swing. Nice swing? Come on.
That's not
the ball
what
didn't
you
drop. It's nothing nice about it.
Hardest job
Hang
in
with
baseball.
It is a tough job.
Kinzer fouls it to the screen. 1 for 4 for Ian. A double in the 3rd inning. The ball hard a couple of times tonight. Came in hitting .302. Nick Castellanos, 2 walks and a 2-run home run has led this Tigers offense along with Victor Martinez. 2 of the long hitting streaks on the road coming in, and both have delivered in a big way tonight. Victor 4 for 4. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball. And down in the strike zone. Ian strikes out. 1-2-3. 8th inning for Solis. Tigers hang on to a 1-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th. The bottom of the 8th inning. Alex Wilson takes over on the mound for the Tigers.
Already pitching in his 11th game. Going to get a nickname every day, Alex, one of these days.
It sure was last year.
Yeah. He's going to be asked to do the job in the 8th here.
Alex Wilson really had a fascinating year last year. He had parts of 2 seasons with the Red Sox. Was kind of a long man early in the year, and as the bullpen really kind of failed to deliver, and they traded away Joakim Soria, he became a setup man, even a closer for a moment. But he handled the late innings. He handled any situation you put him into. There was a cutter for a swing and a miss on Jason Worth, and it was impressive. Wore down a little bit at the end, but it was a workload unlike anything he'd ever had before. 70 innings in 59 games. A lot more games where he got up and didn't come in. Pop up here, and Victor's got the easy play. 1 up, 1 down in the 8th inning. Tigers leading by a run.
Efficient, 2 pitches, and out. Jams Worth right there.
Thing you notice with Alex, it's early, but more swings and misses, more strikeouts this year. Had a really efficient, strong outing in the game last night, inning in 2/3 with the strikeout. A lot of quick at bats. He attacks the strike zone. Homer starter, went 5, gave up 3 on 7 hits with 6 strikeouts. Drew Verhagen had a very good outing. In the last batter he faced, Zimmerman hit the home run. Justin Wilson got the last out last inning. Now Alex Wilson here in the 8th. If he can work a 1-2-3, then you've got the 9-1-2 hitters for K-Rod in the 9th. You can stay away from Bryce Harper. There's a base hit into left. They'll need a double play to face the minimum 3 batters here in the 8th.
Romer's having a very good night, 2 for 2 now. Been on base all 4 times. Activity down in the Nationals bullpen. Sean Kelly, Jonathan Papelbon, closer, getting up and throwing.
Espinosa 1 for 2 plus a walk. Alex Wilson got a good number of double plays turned behind him last year. He had a real knack for getting ground ball with men on base. Interesting this year that he's giving up more balls hit in the air than on the ground. But again, in these situations, he had the knack. Can he get one off the bat of Espinosa? Espinosa runs well. Castellanos in tight. 2-0.
Well, Dusty's game plan here is to try to get that runner, Wilson Ramos, into scoring position. You've got the pitcher's position coming up next. Clint Robinson hit the walk-off home run. Jose Lobaton, a switch hitter. And Michael Taylor and Chris Paisley all on the bench.
Fastball up and in. Cutter. Espinosa fouled it straight back. There is Clint Robinson. Clint Robinson said last night he thought it was the 8th inning, Jack.
Oh my.
Thinking,
never admit stupidity.
He said, I rounded first and I looked to home and I saw everybody at home plate and I realized, oh. I'm thinking.
That's embarrassing.
He said it made me more relaxed. Swinging a foul. I never heard that before.
Just keep it quiet now.
I thought it was the 8th. I was more relaxed at the plate. Whatever it works. Delivered the walk-off blow. 2-2 after the 2-0 start to the at-bat. And Alex Wilson get the ground ball right here.
That's what he needs.
Can setting up away. Fly ball to center. It's deep, but Ghost has it in range. 2 outs in the 8th. We'll take you back to last night. There was still controversy raging over Bryce Harper being ejected. Clint Robinson, thinking it was the 8th inning, just calmly walked it off.
Second pitch he saw from Mark Lowe, fastball up, and just a nice easy swing. The ball jumped. And then he could realize, you know what? My buddies are at home. Let's go ahead and go home.
Second career pinch hit home run for Robinson. You're rarely going to get a pinch hitter who's going to hit for average. It's too tough a job. But if you've got a pinch hitter who can have that home run threat off the bench, again, you'll suffer the low average for that threat, especially for a National League team. It's just not as much of a factor in the American League. It's just not.
Dusty Baker's got Papelbon throwing kind of for that reason.
Yep. That's exactly
in case
right.
they would take the lead with a swing of the bat.
Kelly, if they don't. Wilson gets the call. This guarantees that Bryce Harper will bat in the 9th inning. Hardy throwing in the Tigers bullpen. McCann holds it an extra beat, doesn't change the mind of the home plate umpire, Todd Tichenor, and the good hitters count for Clint Robinson.
Blaine Hardy now throwing in the Tiger bullpen.
Tigers holding on to a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 8th. Man on, 2 outs. Line drive foul, late in the fastball away. Alex Wilson 1 strike away from getting out of the 8th inning. 1-out single by Ramos. Quietly putting together one heck of a good start for the Nationals. 260 hitters hitting 370. Again, McCann setting up away. Driving to center, and that's going to get by Ghost all the way to the wall. Ramos being waved around third. Throw to the plate. Got him! Andrew Romine with a strike to home to get Ramos, and the Tigers hang on to the lead. Perfect throw from Ghost to Romine, and Romine to home.
Well, once it gets by Ghost, you knew that there was going to be some kind of relay and a perfect execution of that. Look at the strike that Romine throws to McCann. Ramos doing everything he can to chug a lug around, but the throw beats him.
Wilson in the end does the job. Tigers lead by 1. Two perfect throws means the Tigers still have the 1-run lead. Top of the 9th inning. 2, 3, 4 hitters. Martinez, Castellanos. Sean Kelly, I'm sorry, the new pitcher.
How nice would it be for an insurance run or two from the Tigers right here? Got the hot hitters coming up here. Top of the 9th inning, JD, then Victor and Nick.
Kelly strong through 10 innings. He's due to give up a run. He's not allowed a run yet. Foul out of play. Tigers have done a lot of run scoring late from the 6th inning on consistently throughout the year. Obviously this past week has been tough. Through 25 games, that was one of the features of this offense, which was a top 3 offense until these last 7 games. Let's look at the after this pitch. Fifth pitch of the at bat is low and away. Kelly now in his 8th year. Consistent power arm, consistent strikeouts in his career. Ground ball foul.
Tigers could definitely use a base runner here. Kelly working ahead in the count.
Pop up. Will it be playable? Zimmerman out of room. Wanted to go up and over that tarp. JD, the good night last night, lined out in his 2nd at bat tonight, still trying to get the bat where he knows it can be, but it's just not quite there. Only Joyner feels still not as disciplined in the strike zone as he can be. Well, he's seen some tough pitches from Kelly. It's a live arm. Strikeouts keep climbing higher. The last 4 years has gone from a guy who struck out 7 or 8 or 9 to 11 and 12 batters per 9 in the last 4 years. Pretty good command for a power arm. 9th pitch of the at bat is ball 2.
JD doing a good job getting that pitch count up. Allows the guys on deck to take a little longer look at Kelly. Now he works full count.
Heck of an at bat.
Yes, it is.
Not too often you see an at bat that goes at least 10 pitches, where pitches 9 and 10 are balls 2 and 3. Tigers trying to start something in the 9th. The 3-2. Oh boy. Sharp slider got him.
Let's take a look at the Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game, and it was that relay. Anthony Ghost gets to the ball, makes a perfect relay throw to Andrew Romine, who in turn throws a perfect strike to James McCann, and Ramos is out at the plate, saving a huge run that would have tied the game right there.
Watching those replays, it was even closer than you realized. Ramos picking him up, put him down as fast as he could. But that left foot was almost on the plate. Always a difficult call for the home plate umpire. The tag high, the feet at the plate.
Well, that's just it. And a lot of times that will be reviewed. If it was the last play of the game, I'm sure Dusty Baker would have reviewed it, but you see the throw beat the runner, and you know that's part of the reason the manager might not argue.
4 for 4 for Victor. It's been 4 hard hit balls, 3 line drives, 1 ground ball that he hit hard and squeezed it through with the overshifted infield. Sees again the shift. Boy, slider belt high, and he swung right through it. Not where Kelly wanted that pitch, I don't think. Victor had such an amazing year in 2-strike counts 2 years ago, and he's back to being that dangerous 2-strike hitter again this year. 4 for 4 has lifted his average by 25 points. Foul out of play. Fastball low and away from Victor. All he's been doing tonight with the overshifted infield is just taking pitches away and driving it the opposite way from both sides of the plate.
And again, just not giving away an at bat, grinding out every pitch.
Think of the decision that Brad Ausmus has to make tomorrow. The plan was Nick Castellanos sits one of these 3 games, so tomorrow it was going to be tentatively Victor at first, Cabrera at third. Victor just had a 4-hit night. Castellanos just hit 2 2-run home runs in the 2 games. What do you do?
Maybe Miggy gets another day. I don't know.
I can't picture it, but how do you take either one of these guys out? Pop up here. It will not be a 5-hit night for Victor. Third baseman Rendon comes in to make the catch for the second out. Last thing you want to do is give a hot hitter a night off, right? If you don't have to.
Well, I'm sure he would love to have all 3 guys in the lineup, but
Nationally Ballpark he can't.
Victor's
I
limited
can't
to first
pick.
base.
There's no way
that's
in
really the issue.
Right.
And
there's no way in the world that he sits Miguel for 2 nights in a row.
I doubt it. You gotta remember, he got a pinch hit. RBI.
A little bloop. Slider for a strike to Castellanos. Scherzer on the mound. Nobody particularly wants to face Max. K-Rod getting ready for pitch the 9th. Nick swings and fouls it to the screen. Two-run home run, 1 for 2 for Nick, plus 2 walks. He's shown a little more discipline at the plate. Actually, he's been, I think, incredible getting the breaking ball down and away and hitting with authority. It was still low walks, high strikeouts, and then this week started to draw a few more walks. Contact, impressively consistent game today, and it's hard contact. Foul out of play here. Joe Ross had not given up a home run until that swing.
Classic uppercut swing, but catch a breaking ball that's going down and you're underneath it.
Fouled out of play again.
A couple defensive swings the last 2 pitches. Kelly kind of reaching back, trying to get the final out of the inning with fastball.
Upton hitless tonight in the on-deck circle. Again the 0-2. Swing and a miss to get him to the high fastball. Nick swung himself right around and out of the right-handed batter's box. Tigers trying to snap the losing streak, go to the bottom of the 9th with a 1-run lead. Top of the order coming up for the Nationals. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. When it's time, come to Comerica. By your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers, visit ChevyDetroit.com and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory. Washington Monument in all its glory.
Look at the wind. Little time lapse there.
50 to 60 mile an hour breeze, apparently. Not too far from here. That's just to our north and a little bit west. We're just south of the White House and the Capitol. Oh, here we go. 9th inning. Francisco Rodriguez takes over on the mound.
3 outs needed.
Bunt attempt by Ben Revere, and he bunts it well foul.
Castellanos really not fooled at all. They've got him played in on the grass, but Ben still trying to maybe punch it by him between the pitcher and Nick towards the shortstop, Andrew Roman.
Shaky start, all related to fastball command for Francisco Rodriguez. Much better his last 5 outings. Fastball here misses to make it 1-1, but he could not throw a first pitch strike with his fastball. Hitters were crushing the changeup. Stuff is really the same as it was last year with Milwaukee when he closed 38 out of 40 games. 5 strikeouts his last 4 1/3. No walks.
K-Rod is the kind of the epitome of the deception. He's a guy that's all arms and legs and motion, and you know his best fastball now probably 90 miles an hour.
Tops.
Most of the time 88, and a changeup that's in the 70s.
Revere 0 for 4. There's the changeup that gets the swing and miss.
Great movement on this, but see the arm speed, the same as the fastball. Ben Revere was susceptible his last plate appearance. Way out in front of that one.
4 ground balls off his bat tonight. Castellanos stays in tight because of that speed. The 2-2 shot to second, backhanded by Kinsler. 1 out in the 9th. Check in with Trevor Thompson as we look ahead to Tigers Live after the game tonight.
Well, Dan, right now we're saying, come on, K-Rod. We need to talk about a win. We got to get this big monkey off our back. So hopefully we're talking about a Michael Fulmer victory in his 3rd start. We'll talk about a big 6th inning that turned things around for the Tigers here tonight. And hopefully about some very strong relief appearances here to get the win in Washington tonight, guys.
That sounds like a game plan for a good post-game
You sold me,
show.
Trev. You sold me.
Rendon at the plate, 1 for 4. Bryce Harper 0 for 3 with a walk waiting on deck. The occasional curveball from Francisco Rodriguez misses low and away.
Let's look ahead. All right, he gets out. Rendon. Harper comes up. What do? Do you walk him with 2 home runs from Zimmerman?
Not a chance.
Got to go after him, right?
Not a chance. You absolutely do. I think even Joe Madden wouldn't pitch around it with 2 home runs.
Oh, yeah, you would.
You think?
He might walk 2 guys.
He'd walk. Harper, I can't picture it. Well, you'd never know with Joe, though. 2-0 here.
Loaded. Nah, he wouldn't.
He just walk Harper, Zimmerman, and Murphy.
Yeah, just pitch to Worth.
Oh. K-Rod gets the call on the pitch near the outside corner. Instead of 3-0, it's 2-1. At his best, and he was at his best last year, all year for Milwaukee. Strike thrower, gets swings and misses. Shot here in this left center field. That might be 2. It will be. Anthony Rendon. 1-out double here in the 9th. Now what do you do?
Yeah, that's a tough one. And no matter what happens here, Brad's going to be under scrutiny, I imagine.
Wow, what a decision. I think first base open. I still think you have to go after Harper, but
I think they've got to walk him here. You know, Zimmerman's got 2 home runs, but he still can be pitched to. You just got to avoid that fastball down and in. But this guy, a mistake pitch, and you know, they have another walk-off. So we go ahead and walk him. Crowd does not like it, but baseball's kind of getting used to this with Bryce Harper.
I thought it was interesting what Dusty Baker said even before the weekend against the Cubs. He saw this with Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds was intentionally walked 120 times in a season in which he walked 230 times with the San Francisco Giants. Dusty Baker was his manager, and he said it just puts all the pressure on the hitter because he knows he's only going to see maybe a couple of pitches in a game that he can do damage on and show what he can do. And he said Barry Bonds obviously could handle that. Bryce Harper can handle that. His batting average is not the same as Barry Bonds that year. But that's his 10th intentional walk. That intentional walk total is going to skyrocket as this season goes on. Again, you thought that was a no-brainer, and probably with first base open. But what you worry about, this guy could be heating up. This is a good hitter who has not had a good year until tonight.
He's had 2 great at-bats his last 2, but he can be pitched to, and it's up to K-Rod now to execute those pitches. Now keep in mind, K-Rod's pretty much fastball, changeup.
Guy who likes the ball down and in, down in the strike zone. As he start him off with the changeup. Fastball away.
It's a tough situation for the Tigers. Literally, Zimmerman 2 home runs. Daniel Murphy on deck. He's 2 for 4, and he's been the hottest hitter in this Nationals lineup here for the last week or so.
Heck, one of the hottest hitters in the National League with Diaz. Fastball came up a little bit. Zimmerman had a rip. 227 coming in with 1 home run. Just a miserable start for a pretty accomplished hitter. 2 groundouts. Hit the second one hard. And then the 2 home runs. And both crushed. Especially the first one. 2 on in the 9th. Tigers trying to snap a 7-game losing streak, lead by 1. Breaking ball in the dirt. Look out. Good hitters count for Zimmerman. 2-1. Long look in, and finally Zimmerman asks and gets time as McCann goes out to talk this over with K-Rod.
You want to get on the same page, so this is a good visit from James McCann. He probably is not only talking about this pitch, but if he misses, what he wants to throw on the next one.
That's an amazing total of walk-off home runs for a guy who's been a good power hitter, but that's a crazy total of walk-offs. The 2-1 drops in the curveball. What a pitch. Remember Francisco Rodriguez?
The location of this pitch scares me, but the fact that it froze Zimmerman, he was out in front. It was an off-speed pitch. He was sitting dead red. You can tell by what he did with that pitch. He took the stride and just froze.
Remember Francisco Rodriguez, first outing as a Tiger, could not convert the save in his first game in Miami. He is 7 for 7 since. It hasn't always been pretty, but he knows how to get these final outs. Swing and a miss. 2 outs in the 9th.
Wow, what a pitch there. Looked like a changeup that just sunk. Tremendous sink on that pitch right there.
Now Brad Ausmus's out to the mound. Michael Fulmer in line for his 2nd win in 3 career starts. Murphy at the plate, Worth on deck. What do you think the discussion was about? Just how to pitch to Murphy,
or whether to pitch? You know, sometimes it's not a manager giving the 4 finger sign to the catcher where you intentionally walk him, but he might go out to the mound and say, "Look, don't give him anything. Fall behind." They might just hold the hand out and walk him, but be careful with the hottest hitter in their lineup.
Arguably more dangerous. He's been a better hitter overall than Bryce Harper, hitting over 400 with power. Doesn't bite on the changeup. 2 on, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. Tigers trying to even this series, snap a 7-game losing streak, put themselves in position to take the series with a win tomorrow. Fly ball, center field, goes coming in, and he will make the catch. And Francisco Rodriguez does the job again. 2 on in the 9th. He gets 2 dangerous hitters, and the Tigers' losing streak comes to an end. Michael Fulmer gets his 2nd major league win. Big nights for Castellanos and Victor Martinez. Our final score: the Tigers take the Washington Nationals in Game 2 of this 3-game series, a 5-4 win. Anthony Gose making the easy grab, and K-Rod knows how to get it done.